Welcome back to The Night Shift, where we do Deadlock and we have a good time. And we are about to have the best time because it is now that time where we get our grand finals, our money match here between Abrahams and Buff Enjoyers. It's been a pretty remarkable rematch we've had every single week, and I think it delivers every time, guys.
Abraham's coming in hot too. Like, dominant win over Lodos, was not really that close. They had full control of the game. I do think obviously they're going to be up against a much stiffer opponent here in the Buff Enjoyers, but maybe this is the week for Abraham's to bring it back. I just still think they look as good as ever.
Yeah, I really think they do, and I think they showed us last week they go back to their tried and tested like original heroes with Listic on Abrams and show that he still got it, and Abrams obviously being played almost every single match if it's not picked or banned. Well, if it's not banned, I guess I should say, since it always seems to be number 7 on our priority list. But some really good stuff out of this team, and you can see here like exactly kind of how back and forth it's been. Not since what, shift 2 and 3 have we had repeat winners.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like truly trading blows, and it's been these two teams, right, setting the tempo, setting the standard for Europe and also realistically the world, right, in terms of the level of play right now. This is some of the highest level Deadlock period that just exists in the universe, anywhere in the known universes.
The known universes, the multiverses, an infinitesimal amount of universes. This is the best Deadlock you could possibly find. Abrahams is on your screen. Obviously, we know how good they are, guys. I mean, they are the GOATs. But are they as GOATy as their opponents Buff Enjoyers? We just watched these guys. Is there anything else to say about them?
I just want to see... I want to see how they adapt to a much tougher game, right? And furthermore, how many times has Buff Enjoyers had a pretty hard early game and then has held on to just 3 walkers and has like made a comeback from that position? I want to see not just Abrahams have a good lane, but I want to see at least some point in the series them continuing to advance those leads and not allowing comebacks into the series, because historically that's been where Buff Enjoyers has often been able to get the wins.
By the way, Shiv's hair kind of reminds me of an ice cream cone. Or like, you know, the ice cream, like little twirls. Anyway, it's Buff Enjoyers time. And Shiv's not on the screen, so it's kind of useless for me timing-wise to say that. But, all right, Buff Enjoyers. We haven't talked about these guys just yet today. I'm going to move on from my ice cream stuff, my obsession. What is notable about this team? You know, you already kind of mentioned, Jake, how they are so good at coming back. They're so good at holding on. Even if they have a bad start, they're able to lose well and bring it back. But what else should people know about Buff Enjoyers as they go into this money match?
I mean, I think the first thing is, you know, teams who have been, or fans who've been watching for a long time here in competitive Deadlock, you know, Hoot is the newest addition to this roster, and I think he's added a level of like explosiveness and dynamism that maybe they were missing before, where we talked about maybe on Lodos, like, where's the Popov carry player? I mean, that's like sort of, for me, is exactly what Hoot can be. Not only being a heavy carry player, but also really hard to draft against, because it feels like the guy can play every hero in the game, like at an insane level. And that means that he doesn't, I don't think, necessarily need an early draft prio pick. That said, if you give him a top tier meta pick, man, I think he's going to produce from it. Zergy as well. I know like a lot of people, myself included, fans of Zergy's stream, great to watch and see the way he approaches the game. And I think, I mean, something like a carry Ivy seems like a great fit for Zergy. I wonder if it doesn't go pretty early in the draft, given that Jamside clearly wants it as well. It will be a contested pick in this draft.
Yeah, it's been moving up the pick priority quite a bit. I think it depends on where do you value, like what stage of the game do you want to win? And I think most teams want to have that fallback of if we have 7 or you know, more recently Ivy, that we can depend on getting to 35,000 souls. That's where the game really does seem to turn. But I think like my focus has mostly been on just like the mid game. It's been a lot about these bruisers and how they've been able to play around it. Like your Abrams, your Billies, like your Wardens, like your Viscous, like anyone who's kind of like beefy, you can take a battle early on to buy that time or to buy the space you need to win on these fights. I think that's where the priority has been, at least the last couple of weeks for a lot of these teams, since we've moved heavily away from like these late game carries, since games do end a lot quicker than they used to.
Yeah, that's very true. And you know what? I just want to very quickly, whilst we have the time before we get into the action, I mentioned to you guys, we do have the Graveyard Shift coming up tonight again. And if you are a Patreon supporter, you get access to that, where we get to talk to EU pros, NA pros, and also coaches. We had Lightbringer on very recently, which was really cool. If you play the game a lot, you've probably seen his builds on the just, you know, if you're looking at searching up builds for whatever hero you might be playing, because he's a cerebral guy pumping out the content. He also gives us a lot of insight as well behind the scenes. And of course, all of that content is available to Patreon supporters, you know, in terms of the VODs, in addition to being able to be there live, where you can ask questions to us as well if you want, but probably mostly to the most interesting people in the community that we have on every week. So make sure to get on the Patreon and become a patron, and you'll have access to that. And with that done, guys, we can proceed to talk more about this match here, because last week I felt like, to set the stage, I felt like Buff Enjoyers had, I think, the cleanest 2-0 sweep we have seen in the last couple of months against Abrahams. So I'm worried that could become a trend. What do you put that down to with regards to Abrahams, and what should Abrahams be doing going into this match to ensure that they are going to get off to a better foot?
Well, quickly looking over the match results from that series. So you had Hoot in the first game on Pocket with 45,000 damage, and you had Zergy, who secured Ivy and ended up farming up 55,000 souls. So they kind of got like two win conditions there, with Hoot playing Pocket and with Zergy on Ivy. But that went on 36 minutes, so it was a very long game to actually finish off. I think Buff Enjoyers came back from behind in that one, if I'm not mistaken. And the next one, it was 27, almost 28 minutes with Zergy on Mina with almost the full rainbow. He didn't have the highest assists on the team, but had everything else besides that, with, again, good support out of like Mirage being played again. You had Obi Kim on Hayes again. You had Listic on Abrams again. I think it was just kind of, as I kind of talked about with Lodos, no star player, no real carry player from what we've seen. You look on this side, you have Hoot carrying one game with Zergy, then you have Zergy carrying the next game. They have those players who can pop off in these games and carry a match through. But the thing is, like, on the other side, I didn't really hate the lineups that we saw out of Abrahams. They had some fairly good drafts, like Viscous, Bebop, Mina, Yamato, Mo, and Billy. Like, that's a pretty damn solid lineup. But I think they just fell too far behind with a couple of comebacks that happened in that game.
I want to see Abrahams have like a pretty strong late game secure draft. Although I think Buff Enjoyers are really sick in the late game, they're great at making comebacks. I feel like you can't be in a rush to end the game against Buff Enjoyers. That's where they punish you when they're playing from behind. You're forcing maybe things a little bit too early, trying to like clear a walker a little bit too early. I think that's where, the game can fall apart when you have an initial opening lead out of the lane. So for Abrahams, maybe it does go as hard as like really prioing getting that Ivy somewhere in your draft, giving yourself that late game secure. That being said, though, Zergy being able to play something like the Mina makes it a lot harder to draft against this team when they're sort of going away from the conventional carries. It means you have a lot more options about how to build your team.
Well, I just want to give a quick shout out actually to the many people in the Deadlock community who are co-streaming, notably SK and also Deathy for getting in there on the night shift action. Much appreciated. To get those co-streams in and get the eyes on this level Deadlock, because Jason, we're into the draft now, and the fact that Abraham's banned Pocket, that kind of leads directly off of that point you made into how notable Pocket can be in this matchup.
Yeah, you can draw bans, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Kelvin being picked up almost immediately here for Buff Enjoyers, because you don't want to let them get Kelvin Shiv since they have the opportunity. But if we're giving shout outs, also a big shout out to
Jax Libido
for the 10 gifted subs he put up earlier on in the game. I didn't have a chance to bring it in and do it, so I didn't want to what?
I don't even know. I don't know what my effects button even does, but
it's like it's like a freaky alien sound, man.
You don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to workshop that.
Horror movie, dude.
Sorry about that. I did.
Can you do this whole draft phase like that? Actually,
please don't. There's no word.
I mean, Halloween's coming up. It's kind of like perfect, right?
I gotta fix that one.
All right. Ivy second overall, first pick for Abrahams. They really want to prio that for Jam side, and I understand why, right? It gives them that late game carry potential. Do you take the Shiv now, though, for Abrahams? It feels like there's a lot of powerful picks you're giving up if you do take the Shiv. But if you don't take the Shiv, you're going to have to dance with Shiv Kelvin, which we've seen just almost end games all of a sudden. I think they're going to give up the Shiv Kelvin. I see the logic behind this, but I'm a little scared for them. I think Buff Enjoyers opening with that Kelvin first pick is really powerful. I think Abraham should have banned it out.
I'm going to actually go the other way around. I don't think Buff Enjoyers have an exceptional Shiv player like Together. I know we've seen they can play it, but to play it to the level that Together's been able to use it in the past, I haven't seen that in a very, very long time out of Buff Enjoyers. I'm excited to see, though, who they're going to put on it in particular for this one.
Maybe
I know even the KLS played it with them previously, but it hasn't been to the same level as Abraham's been able to utilize it.
I kind of want to see Hoot. I mean, I think Hoot has like been this insane rank 1 player for so long. I feel like put him in a position to just carry the first game, right? Like give him the early snowball, give him that tempo. Mina, great like complement to that. Maybe this is the Zergy Mina and the Hoot Shiv with the Kelvin support. I mean, it's only 3 picks into the draft, but I already think this puts, 2 of your key carry players in a great position. Downside, though, of taking the Mina is it means Listic is going to fall a little bit farther on the prio here. I would have loved to see something like a Billy, but maybe it would have been too early to pick up the Billy there in the 3rd pick slot. And I think for Buff and George, you got to hope that you're able to get something solid over the line here for Listic to get those good frontliners. With Abrams out, I feel like you really need the Billy. Maybe you're hoping it gets through, but I could easily see Abraham's banning it right now.
Trying to look through my database here to actually see who has run it mostly on their team and see if Listic's actually run Shiv before for them. So he has run Shiv, but only played twice for the team. If Listic wanted to go towards Shiv and they wanted to let like Hoot flex as something else, but yeah, the Yamato bit, I think it's another hit at kind of at Listic a bit, because we've seen him play Yamato in the past as well, and you've already kind of limited what he can play with Abrams being taken away. But again, we know Buff and Jors and him in particular have a deep pool, so you're not really going to ban someone out in particular.
Man, Doorman is getting some legit prio, right? Like, teams are really putting some respect on this hero. And there was a moment where I thought Doorman was one of the like bottom 2 of that new heroes released in that big drop, where there was a couple weeks where nobody was playing Doorman, and now this week, I mean, we see him played once, we see him banned here in the 2nd phase, not the top prio. And Bebop picks as well, so it's interesting for me, because I would think like for Taz, what is Taz going to play here? I think the Bebop maybe is a little bit more of a specialist pick that I would like to see Taz piloting.
ABL
that also means
has played Paradox before too.
Okay.
So maybe ABL Paradox. But then I'm looking at like Demov. Are they going to go Holiday that have pick potential? And Demov for me was one of the best Holiday players in EU. But I'm not a big fan of this, because not to say Shark is a bad player, but his Viscus and Demov's Viscus are completely different worlds, not even from the same universe.
Isn't this a Demov Viscus, you think?
Shark's played it recently for him every time. Okay. Like, Demov's not been able to play the Viscus, because normally they pair it with a Paradox, and Demov's been the one to pick up the Paradox for the team.
But in this game, though, oh wow, Infernus, we've barely seen Infernus. I actually think, though, there's some vision in this. I think Infernus is really sick into Bebop, because it's so Bebop has a giant model. It's very easy to ignite him in the laning phase. I think later into the games, people like Abrams, as tanky as he isn't going to be able to tank through an Infernus. So Infernus definitely off meta, but I think in terms of somebody who can burst down a heavy carry.
Oh my god!
Wait, the pick potential is getting excessive here from Abrahams. They have 3 pick initiators, which I don't think is amazing. I mean, Infernus could be really vulnerable to that. In fairness, maybe this like destroys Infernus's game, but you have a Viscus on the team. You have the best save in the game, I think. I mean, Ivy should get Capacitor at some point, right? And be able to purge the Viscus Cube, which will really mitigate those saves. But Abrahams they're going all in tempo. Like, this is like snowball or game is over. Ivy can theoretically carry late game, but I think with this draft, it's not going to be enough. I think they need to like end the game at 30 minutes here. But maybe they can do it. Maybe they can hit before Infernus is really able to play the game and be effective.
So does this mean Zergi's on Infernus and Hoot's on Mina?
What are we standing around for?
I still think it's a Hoot. I would still think it's a Hoot Shib, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a, because it should be Listic on. I guess the question is, what is Sharik playing? This
is one of the first times that we've not been able to decipher who's on who on Buff and Joyers Dan, and this blows my mind, because it's been about a year and we've been pretty consistent knowing who's going to play who, but this is definitely one of the first times for me. I'm just like, I'm not really sure who's where.
Maybe a Demov Mina and a Sharik Viscus with Hoot on Shiv. I think that makes the most sense to me. I just want to see who plays Shiv. I think, although the Mina could be pretty likely as well.
I'm curious on the Infernus build as well, because I've seen a lot of like fun Catalyst focus builds where you don't like max the flame dash quickly.
He needs to build a lot of green in this game, I'll tell you that, man.
Well, if you've been watching the game nights, Jake, you just have to copy your build.
I don't know if he's going to go Majestic Leaf, though. I don't know if the pros are up to that.
Majestic Leaf and
mental level as my Majestic Leaf.
That's sick, dude. Actually, if you pop the ult and then Majestic Leaf, I've never seen anyone try that. That's actually sick.
I think that's maybe not good. But
dude, that's the play.
That's the next game night right there.
He's going to need a lot of tankiness, though. I mean, think about the level of like initiation and stun follow-up and single target burst in this game is extraordinary. Especially once Capacitor is online and you can deal with the cube. For Buff Enjoyers, like, they're gonna need to bring numbers to these team fights, because it feels like whoever gets opened up on by Abrahams is just dead. Like, you're gonna get CC'd to oblivion by this comp.
By the way, Jake, now Jason's mentioned this, we do need to see the Mystic expansion, cooldown reduction, Majestic Leap, like Infernus ult build, just dropping bombs on people.
Nuke.
Trophy collector, baby. That's the.
Okay, that's where I draw my line. All right, get that out of here. That's not legit. But I really just want to see like someone get hooked in and then rescue beam back, and then they get like lassoed back in, and then they get rescue beam back, then they get paradoxical swapped in and get rescue beam
Actually,
back.
that's a good point. Rescue beam is crazy in this game.
Yep.
Because there's so much commitment on like bursting down the initial target you catch. And Kelvin this is the most, I think you might build 2 rescue beams this game. Honestly, I'd like to see Viscous and Kelvin have rescue beams because I think it's kind of a broken item into this amount of commitment on getting pickoffs by Abrahams. And if you have 2, then if you catch one of the rescue beam users, the other one can save you.
This is gonna be interesting. We don't normally see like such a departure for Abrahams from like something that seems more steady, but they're doing it to open up the series, which is super interesting, honestly. Haze too is interesting because we saw that not go so well at all for Lotos. Like Haze can get exposed pretty easily if you get off to a slow start.
Yeah, but also like a natural slowing hex builder too. So if you catch Mina with a hook, you can't use your Sanguine Retreat to get away. I think like Holiday might even build into it too. I think hopefully we're going to see Bebop build more towards gun damage like we see over North America with Goober in particular. But you know what? I think I'm convinced here, Jake. I know who's on who for buff enjoyers. I think Shark is going to be on Shiv, D-Mob on Viscous, Listic on Billy, Zergy on Infernus, Hoot on Mina, and Obi Kim on Kelvin.
Zergy Mina.
That's my guess.
I'm going Zergy Infernus. I'm going Hoot Shiv. I'm gonna say D-Mob is gonna be on the Mina and Viscous is gonna be Sharik. We'll have to see though to come into this one.
Come on, Zergy.
I think our titles our teams are swapped here on our top. So let's see.
I was kind of hoping it wasn't, and it was swapped in the draft on accident.
Oh my god, that throws everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Into debate. Oh my, Viscous is getting punished here.
Is that a Shark on Viscous? Okay, so I'm not right. It's D-Mob.
We were both wrong.
What is happening?
Hoot is on Infernus. Okay. Let's see what Hoot can do. This mid lane is interesting, right? Holiday plus Bebop. I don't think I've seen this lane before. I mean, I guess we just don't see much Holiday really recently.
I think you also didn't really see as much Bebop when Holiday was popular too, because it was just like Holiday and Paradox being picked. So I think this is kind of a new world meets old world here. But these 2 heroes in the mid lane.
I mean, there's like, I would say arguably like 4 initiator pick heroes on the side of Abrahams here. And I think that we'll have to see how it works out as opening hook here for Taz. If he wants to go for, he's not going to take hook. Interesting. Just going for that like heavy pressure on the lane with the uppercut, continuing that spam pressure. Kind of like this build though, right? Like you're not committed on hitting early hooks. And instead you just put a lot of relatively consistent spam damage, like uppercutting minions and bombs into the enemy team.
I think their goal mid lane is just get that tower right away and get an early snowball.
Yeah, start rotating, right? I feel like that's one thing with this level of draft, right, or this type of draft is you need to be pretty invested in the rotation game. And to do that, you need to start dropping Guardians. I think Buffalo Jurors would rather a very stable early game, and it's going to be the exact opposite preference here for Abrahams. That minion is going the distance there, going deep. As this lane is already looking great for D-Mob. I mean, think about, all right, this is like a monster lane into I think, a very weak lane. I mean, Abrams plus Haze, I'm a little scared for both of these. Like, Shiv Calvin is a freak lane.
Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty favorable lane for buff enjoyers too. Because Together's going to want to play aggressive on the Abrams, which means he's very susceptible to being caught off by the frozen shelter. Also just noticed, by the way, in chat, if you're not looking, I glance at it once in a while. There's a JK bottle emote now for me with my very interesting looking colored water that I drank a couple weeks ago. That's interesting. Anyways, back into this game. As we do see, it looks like I think we've never seen D-Mob play Shiv. I'm gonna check my database really quickly just to check if he's ever played it in DFN or DLNS, but I don't think he ever has.
The trade comes in and already, oh man, I love that first item reactive from the Shiv. He is like so fearless to trade with his Abrams. Like, come sleep me, come hit me with these skills, or you're just not going to be able to put real damage into the Shiv, especially with Kelvin behind. I mean, they can almost play with reckless abandon here. When you think about where's a tower that's going to go down first, I'd say dollars to donuts, it's going to be the Shiv Kelvin clearing the first Guardian. As okay, Abrams, look across the board, those health bars not super strong. And then Shiv starts to be able to buy into some aggressive items here. Things could get scary.
Yeah, I think this left lane's really hard to play from behind too. Like ABL, he's already below half HP.
It's so hard for ABL in this game. Like, genuinely so hard. Mid lane, though, I mean, Sharik is going to suffer in this lane. Like, you know, I don't think there's much threat, really, that you're able to put on the enemy. Zergy doing a bit of a trade back here on the Mina, but Sharik is so low. He's just not really able to participate in these trades.
I did look up, by the way. Demov has played Shiv 4 times, but one win, 3 losses.
Jamside down 2? Oh, a double kill in the side lane. That is brutal. And the aggression in a lane that I wouldn't have thought is going to be that potent. And I think are they suiciding the tower here? I wonder. Oh man, this is tower down. This is actually tower down. And actually, I think this is a good call. Like people have been saying, oh, these longer spawns, it's like not worth dying to guard it. I still think it's good, honestly. Right? Like it's a few seconds extra, and you're back to full HP in the early game. You take it on a Guardian, like that is a positive trade. Listic though on literal 1. If he's able to get back out and get a reset, that would be great for the Buff and Joy's early game. It looks like he is clear.
Well, it's also the timing of the wave too, because who's going to miss nothing? He's going to get back to lane in time, since we're going to see a shove out of Jam side anyway. So he really misses nothing, and only just gains from it. Looks like Sap will get the kill on a Zergy, who got caught in the Veil. And the last one not going to connect on a Shark, who's going to survive for now. I thought this mid lane tower for sure went down first, but it's going to fall eventually.
You got to be careful here. Viscus sticking around, dancing with death there. Sap looking for those connections. And they are able to drop that tower. The chain is good, though, onto the Billy, who roamed into this one. Going to pull them very far away from that jump pad. And that's a great counter kill to find in a lane that was pretty tough for the Buff Enjoyers. So Listic making hay out of that early lane win, and Hoot is just going to be able to play the farm game on this Infernus. It's going to be very much a dream start for Infernus. Top of the lobby, 4.6k souls. Doesn't seem like a big deal right now, but having an absolutely full HP Guardian to defend here, we're going to see most likely Hoot pull pretty far ahead from Jamside.
Well, he just killed Saint too in the enemy jungle. It was like Saint and Jamside together was able to kill Saint and get away. Relatively healthy. I don't know how he actually got that kill, but either way, he's up to about 5,000 souls now, as you pointed out. Going to continue to snowball this game, though. Listic has returned back towards this right lane to help defend it. I thought Listic maybe would roam a little bit more to give all this free farm over to Hoot, but I think they're also wanting to protect this Guardian most importantly, as we're starting to see it kind of go the opposite way of what you expect in this left lane. It looks like Together and ABL are looking to take this tower first. Yeah,
the dome is going to be crucial to find here. A catch onto Sharik, but I mean, this is a Viscus with the ulti. Yeah, you wonder if you bit off more than you could chew there. They're able to just barely get that catch onto Task. Sharik pops the ball, but I think he's just going to be kiting away from that. Holiday is not an easy target to hit with the goo ball. And Holiday is going to be able to like clear out this mid lane and push people back with the help of Saint. But Saint rotating into this wasn't able to actually find a counter kill. So in the end, I think Buff Enjoyers pretty happy to just pull more rotation into a mid lane where they've already lost the Guardian.
I mean, Saint's even fallen really far behind too. No ultimate just yet. The last one in the game together at 3,300 souls.
There's 4 players here from Abrahams. They need to not only take this Guardian, I think they need to find kills. To bring 4 players into this, they get the Guardian, but yeah, no kills are going to be found. I think Kelvin Shiv read that play wisely. They're going to fall back. That is putting Hoot and Listic in a position to really build up a bank of ultimates. Once they have those ultimates online, then the next buy, it's going to be, that's the big spike for Buff Enjoyers to really continue to push the tempo here in the very early game. Is I think Hoot and Listic, or think about that, like Billy plus Infernus, that ult combo seems pretty sick, right? Like, how do you really challenge that for a lot of the players on Abrahams? It feels like they're going to be significant on the back foot, especially with the soul lead that those two have accumulated.
And also, while this is happening, I mean, Tass has already been able to pick up a very early Veil Walker, so you can get around and get it into these lanes, look for that kill potential to get themselves, I guess, more even in souls. Only down about 3,000, but obviously a lot of this is going to come through to these Guardians as they continue to fall here.
Yeah, and the map presence is pretty strong, I will say, for Abrahams. They end up, you know, coming up 2-1 in the Guardian trade. I think Buff Enjoyers are fine with that, though, for the moment. They don't feel much pressure. Together is behind here, could find a catch, but do you actually think you can take on the Shiv, Kelvin? That's the thing. I think they're just going to clear the lane and be happy with that. Although, hold on, they're getting kind of surrounded. But Listic is coming in additionally, so coming in the Shiv, Kelvin, you got to be very careful. You get caught in a dome, you could end up in more trouble than it would seem. And I think both teams are kind of patient. No one wants to really be the one to make the mistake. They recognize how even the game is. It's a 4K soul lead for Buff Enjoyers, but that hasn't really translated into objectives just yet. But finding ABL is exactly what you wanted. In and out from Together, knows he can't fully commit onto this. Just barely escaping the Billy chain. Is he going to be able to get around the corner? No. And now Abrams has to rip the ulti. Should be enough to get out, but no. The execute is good from D-Mob, and that's going to translate directly into this mid lane Guardian. Sap is here with the lasso. He's going to pull one deep, and it looks like, is that a Kelvin? Just sent so incredibly deep. Frozen Shelter, though. Maybe one of the only tools in the game that could keep somebody up through that kind of a dive. More and more players being thrown into this fight, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Lasso threw him in under the walker, but the Frozen Shelter was just going to be too strong. But I don't know if Obikim's actually going to escape at this time with the player below him as well. He will fall, but it's bought some time for the rotation to come in, maybe towards this right-hand side. But Abrahams has not given up on this right lane. They're going to get another Guardian down, getting the first 3 of the game and getting a flex slot unlocked. But they're still going to be down about 6,000 souls here, Jake, even with the objective lead.
Yeah, and Hoot just farming up right now. Like, no real interest, I think, in getting active at this point in the game, and that's going to be a key decision for Buffenjoyers. When do they want to really bring this Infernus into play and start forcing team fights? And it's going to be a second. I think he's probably going to come back and, you know, clear most of his jungle, get a key power spike online. Abrahams, though, maybe looking to come and force a team fight of their own, a little bit deeper into Buffenjoyers' territory. See Abrams walking up there, and looks like Shiv Calvin are going to take that challenge on. And this buff's 30 seconds, right? So I think both teams looking to contest. Looks like both of them contesting that left side buff.
I see Abrams.
Demov's going the Serrated Blades build too, maxing that out first. Let's send the Killing Blow next, I believe. Really trying to maintain this ground. He really wants to prevent the Sinners from being picked up by Together. But obviously, just the oversight he's being given to him and his team is very important in this situation.
And Hoot able to get the kill on the ABL. ABL's having a really rough game on the Haze. We talk about the feast or famine. This is a famine game, absolutely, to be sure. And Furnace is very greedy with this build. I mean, getting the reactive barrier, think about that. Like, you go all in on this heavy initiator draft, and reactive barrier becomes an insanely broken item, right? Like, almost every, I think literally every single hero on Abrahams has a skill that triggers reactive barrier. So it's giving a lot of value to these item builds out of the buff enjoyers. And I think, like we talked about, it's Abrahams who are under pressure, like, thematically off of this draft. And I like the buff enjoyers. I think they recognize that they're not trying to press their lead. They're just content to get deeper and deeper into the late game. I think even if you don't have a soul lead, buff enjoyers would be pretty happy to go deep into the late game.
I mean, not to mention Hoot's on 11,000 souls as well. Like, he's getting so far ahead of everyone. So he's going to be from the left-hand side.
Nice hit from Zergy, man. Saf very nearly escaped that one. Good catch there on the Mystic shot, finding that burst kill. Hoot now putting some pressure on. He's deployed a couple green items into the build now.
He's following you.
I mean,
smart.
He learned. Obviously, he was watching my gameplay. Majestic Leap coming up next. No question about that. Shiv in trouble. Hooked and pulled way deep under tower. Does have that bloodletting passive to reduce the damage, and that mobility is pretty clean. Hoot, a little bit low stamina. Great movement text coming out of him, but yeah, without Flame Dash, I just don't think you want to stick around much longer.
Big push on the right-hand side happening as the chain gang has come out at a Listic, trying to pull them back in towards a frozen shelter where they're both waiting, ready to pounce. Seismic Slam going to be coming through. And the impact going to crater on towards Listic's head, but he's just trying to escape now. Together didn't really want this fight, but he was stuck here in this one.
Yeah, and Shiv's coming into this. There's a lot of low players, right? Shiv's coming down on the zip. Do you really want to stick around this urn turn in? I think the answer is no. Obikim gonna grab that turn in on the Calvin. You did find Hoot in that trade, and that is allowing you to maybe potentially open up this Sidewalker. However, Sharik able to put some damage down, and Ivy just has to back out of the play. Getting some of that value. We talked about this split pushing global presence, right? Sharik has to come and make that defense, not able to turn around for counter kills. I think Buffeters are going to be pretty happy that they only just one player making the defense for us in the Ivy ult. It's good value.
And it looks like it was a counter spell coming up next for Task, but he has changed it up. It's actually, I mean, counter spell this early. I'm not sure. Yeah, he will. Actually, sorry, he won't commit to it. He did change it up.
It's good for like blocking Shiv's execute, but in this type of a game, I just feel Shiv isn't really going to be pressured to necessarily execute you. Lasso is good on to Hoot, put some damage on him with that reactive barrier, protecting the core HP bar. And now Hoot's turning it around. He says, yeah, pull me in. Let's go. Let's see who can dance a little bit longer. A very late burn reproc on a Saf too. Not going to be quite enough for the kill, but I mean, Ivy's just completely out of that engage. Same as well for Jam side. Meanwhile, across the map though, Demob gets traded, and they're able to bring numbers using those pickoffs to great effect. Getting a pickoff and getting out of that one clean is nice for Abrahams. That's exactly what they need to do to continue to build this lead, or rather to minimize the lead that Buffengers are enjoying.
And they're doing a really good job of, as well as counter matching the pressure in these lanes. Like over in the left-hand lane, they're able to defend it and retreat away without losing anyone. In the meantime, they get a kill in middle. So they're kind of getting these like small little micro comebacks into the game. That's not the word I'm looking for, to be honest. These like little micro victories, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
In the game to pull the lead now to just 3K. It was like almost at 7-8K at one point. If they continue to do this, like that lead that Hoot had isn't really going to matter much.
True. I still think, though, Abraham's are on a clock with this draft. I don't see them really going deep into the late game. Yeah, you've got Jam side, but Ivy, I don't think you're just solo carrying this one. Ivy has to just fly to get out of that one. Man, the serrated blades from Shiv with this build are terrifying. Like, he can do a lot of your HP with that almost alone. Hoot taking a trade in the mid, gets swapped in, but the cube protects him. He's going to ult in. Try and stay on top of this. They do get the stun there. Silence Wave is in, but Infernus is out of skills, man. He's got nothing with the cast. He's just pressing his left click on. You can't silence that. More and more players coming in. Infernus in a bit of trouble. Needs to put a little bit more damage down. Another ultimate deployed. So many have come in on Hoot's head. But Buffingers are going to get into this and look for the cleanups. More players could be coming in. You're kind of low on skills for the side of Abraham's here. This is turning into a bigger team fight. Nina over the top with the ulti, trying to put some silences down. Not much damage, though, affected at all from that ultimate. And this is turning into maybe a good fight for Abraham's. Buffingers need to bring this one back, at least find something out of it. But so many players are incredibly low. D-Mob can't really come into the engagement. He's out completely for the heal. And this is turning into, from a scrap, a deathmatch scrap is actually turning great for Abraham. They don't lose a single player.
Well, he lost one in the beginning, but it was a 1-for-3 trade, which is so massively fair. But 1-for-4 trade, and they get the lead now in souls. Like, this is a massive turnaround for them. Until it, who rejoins the party and gets to kill an ABL a little bit overextended.
It did equalize the game. It equalized the game, which, I mean, you were down a pretty significant soul lead there. So I think Buffingers, oh my God, what a hook from Taz across the map. Once again, though, Infernus, you can hook him, but is that going to secure the kill? Straight over to the jump pad. Oh my God, the public enemy #1 Infernus this game, just absolutely massacred here in the flank. Starting with a beautiful hook by Taz. Consistency on that bebop, such a difficult thing to master, and yet definitely one of the most consistent players in the game, we can say confidently.
Improved duration picked up for Hoot as well. So I think he's really relying on the burn factor, not to mention keeping that catalyst buff up or debuff up on his opponents as much as possible. And honestly, like, Abraham's doing a fantastic job considering they were like really losing control of the game early on, able to equalize things in Guardians, able to get these small little picks here or there, and then eventually get a team fight where they win. Now for them, it's about extending this lead. And I think it's like, when they were behind and the comp they're running, I was kind of a little bit worried. But if they're ahead with the comp they're running, that's just so much more scary for Buffingers, because they're the ones that can control the pace, control the action, control where they want to fight. And that's just going to lead to more and more potential picks coming through. I think if you're Buffingers here, you almost just don't want a team fight, because unless you're engaged on your own conditions, you're going to get hooked in eventually by something.
I think the Kelvin Dome is going to be key to any good engage. Zergy getting opened up on here, but do you actually want to stay in and fight against Viscus and Mina, who are so effective at coming in and out, trading blows? And looks like Hoot finds one. Another potential catch here. Big damage. I mean, ABL does not have the health to take a long trade, especially against Viscus. The burst is immaculate. Sleep comes in, but if there's any follow-up damage here, Hayes has to be sneaky, slip out of this one. I think Diop has read this correctly. Oh! Yeah, great catch by Sharik, rather, onto ABL.
So I'm going to trade the urn now for mid boss. I think this is a very smart play, considering you would not be able to really get there in time. But the urn has been dropped, and Abrahams are quickly in pursuit here. They have Hyper Beam come in a second. They do have Paradoxical Swap up and available and ready to go here. This have Jamside with a lot of souls, but looks like he's off pushing the right-hand side, trying to get in here as quick as he possibly can. As the fight breaks up, while the Rejuve Crystal will fall towards the ground. You can see Buffalo is setting up for the complete take on it. Look at every single one of them making this fight easily in their hands.
I like the dome as well. It's going to allow people to heal up, try to mitigate the losses on those rejuves. We've already used up 2 of them. The damage is pretty good from Abrahams. They want to get some more trades. That's a second rejuve down. Buff Enjoyers have a momentary advantage. They need to clean this one up, though. Only 1 rejuve left. Listic, you can see he's backing out of the fight. Doesn't want to give up that rejuve. They want to keep that buff online for the players who do have it. And they managed to do that successfully, so it would seem. Shiv looking for some exits here. Potentially able to catch Hayes. Rips the ulti now. Trying to get the trade onto Zergy. Zergy has the rejuve, though. You're able to get rid of it, but if it costs ABL's life, is it going to be worth it in the end? Lanes are pretty bad, though, for the Buff Enjoyers. So I think Abrahams may have evaded the worst of this. They give up a lot of valuable kills, giving a soul lead back to the Buff Enjoyers, but in the end, you're not going to lose a walker off of that. It's going to be, kind of back into the neutral game with only really a soul lead to show for it. And Abrahams want to play that tempo. They don't want to back off, but the parry is good.
The parry midair as well. And you can see, I think there's a warp stone in with a charge trying to catch out onto Hoot, who's on 19,000 souls. The urn, it might get hooked away from here.
Oh,
passes off to the side.
Taz just getting what denies he can, but not much to speak of there. You're still able to get the lion's share of the reward there for Sharik on the Viscous. Jamside also has quietly climbed to a pretty big soul lead. I mean, he's like relatively even with Hoot. So when it comes to the raw damage, Abrahams do have that from the Ivy. However, I feel like if the Ivy gets caught at any point in this game, it's going to be blown wide open. Abrahams are like, if they don't have an Ivy in a fight, they're just not going to be able to clean up kills.
Extra health, Spirit Snatch, Veil Walker. Of course, to go with that Express Shot. The fight actually could break off of this. Is that ABL off to the side near DMOV on the haze on the left-hand side of your screen on the minimap? And I think we might even see a catch coming through. You can see everyone immediately heading for this on the Buff and George side, trying to go for the catch, but I think ABL has been able to escape. But maybe leave it a couple teammates to be caught off guard here.
DMOV does find ABL, and Hoot on the other side of the map is holding that lane. There's 3 players on him, but if he gets this lane push and gets out for free, this is an amazing start. And yeah, a mishook from Taz means that not only does he clean most of the creeps on that wave, but the rest of his team is going to be confidently able to push down the Walker, given that Hoot just saw so much presence from Abrahams. Another attempted hook, but he's not finding it. And yeah, you're pushing in here, but if you get a speed back, I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of this here. Ultimate pop. Infernus wants to just stall and delay this Walker take. That spell parry blocks something. The lasso, though, didn't have the counterspell for that, and now Hoot locked in. Should be in a bit of a trouble after that lasso. Trying to play under the Walker, but it's not enough. The Toxic Bolts proc, as well as the damage, is good. And I don't think you're going to be able to get back in time on Buffingers to be able to defend this Walker. So getting a 1-for-1 trade, also well done by Abrahams, considering the soul position they're in.
Yeah, very well done. Again, very quick, smart decision making, but they're still going to be down 10,000 souls as the rest of Buff and Jar is looking to retreat. There's the Frozen Shelter catching in a potential free kill onto Sap, with the chain gang being used as well. Catches out onto 2. It's him and Together, and that'll be the first one to fall of the 2. Looks like Together has been able to escape with the help of the Warp Stone. ABL, though, picks up a capacitor. I haven't really seen his build. I haven't been paying too much attention to his build, but it's definitely straying away from the typical support build. But then again, it is ABL, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for a carry haze build these days.
I mean, there's something to be said for just being a glass cannon in a comp like this, where, yeah, if you get initiated on, you are just dead, but maybe you can turn it around. Speaking of getting initiated on, though, DMOV in trouble. The cube is big, though, blocks a lot of damage, and a puddle punch in as well. Taz doesn't want to be this deep in on the fight. Veilwalker could be getting him out of this, but hold on, Kelvin is on the chase, but okay, hitting the jump head should get him out of trouble completely here.
Another
those
earn
trades, I mean,
free.
Yeah, in the chaos, yeah, another earn for free, and the lead is going to really start to expand here. It's going to start to get painful. Movement buff as well on Sharik. He probably wants to continue playing these tempo fights. And Zergy now has, Zergy, as he does, has quietly reclaimed the soul lead in this game. Jamside is the only one ahead of him, though. The Ivy is getting massively overfarmed in this strat with all 5 of the rest of his teammates able to fight 24/7. He's just pure farming, more or less. Looks like he did sell the capacitor, coming in with an ulti as well. Surely this is too much damage, even for the ability to survive.
All right, Tesla, Burst Fire, Slowing Hex, Mystic Shot. No capacitor, though, so...
Yeah, he bought it and sold it, so...
Bought it and sold it,
trolled us. Did a little trolling. And also, if that's ever a viable strat to fake buy an expensive item and then sell it so the enemy might think in the next team fight you have it if they didn't double check.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility, though. I know a lot of the players use one of those mods so you can see all items when you tab really easily. So I hope they're checking it pretty often, as Hoot might get caught out at the secret shop. Instead, Together backs away. Zergy, by the way, picked up Ethereal Shift. So again, trying to really limit this pick potential. If he does get thrown into the team, he can buy some time. Doesn't need to commit the cube or rescue beam. I don't even actually know if we have a rescue beam picked up for Obi-Kim just yet.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I would have thought this is a great game for it. Have to see if we can take a look at Obakim's build, but Zergy, I mean, is setting up pretty well for the late game. Has built pretty defensive to this point, but I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Boundless Spirit coming off pretty soon. And I mean, so many items on Abrahams are committed to this tempo, initiation style, and we're seeing people start to fall off, right? Like the initiators, Sav and Saint are really far behind the game. Their damage just isn't going to be that relevant. They are just walking cooldowns. Get deeper into the fight without, getting those kills. And here's the catch. Immediate. You just don't have the HP to stand toe-to-toe. Hoot, not a viable opening target. Counterspell, duration extender. I mean, the ultimate is going to be painful. Oh, this is a great fight starting off. Big initiation, big burns on everyone. Hoot calling for the assistance here, calling for the rest of the team to come in. Gets absolutely obliterated under the Walker, though. The hook on maybe came a little bit too deep. Kelvin here with Shiv, though, looking to finish off some of that opening damage. Players are low. Close those execute thresholds. A little bit more damage could really turn this fight. The hook, oh, pulled him deep at the cube. It's gonna protect him for just a moment, but not under the walker, man. Two beautiful hooks by D-Mob onto key cores, but the hits keep coming. Buffenjar is continuing to push down deeper. Parry is good though, onto the Billy, who's really that last key source of damage. Buffenjar is continuing to throw body after body, but Billy just getting the cleanup. They just ran out of skills to deal with him. Taz did everything he could in that team fight, but it wasn't enough.
I mean, Zergy was still there. He pops a Nox Nostra across the entire fight. On top of this, gets 2 kills with Listic to follow up on the final one. And not to mention, they have mid-boss coming up in 10 seconds time. The perfect time for Buffenjars to have a fight that they favor. And they should be turning this into a mid-boss as well, as Saf is just looking for a potential catch. Also to note, Hood has Capacitor on Infernus. And we saw it used in that last fight. He popped it onto Saf, as Saf tried to run away, but you just don't have the movement speed. There's no way you can get away from that combustive combustion. And is able to take him down from that. So I really like that pickup here out of him. As going to be going down very quickly here.
Yeah, and Abrahams are trying to put a lot of pressure on. They are a little bit low on damage, but now that Hoot's here, should be going down pretty quick. Abrahams have to race back into this. I think they know giving up the rejuve at this point in the game would be a deadly mistake, but are you able to stop it? Ultimate online for Infernus. Huge range on that ultimate. It still hits the stun after the swap. 2 for 1, 3 for 1 rejuve trades. And Abrahams instantly losing the one that they did find. So Buffenjar is going to be very happy with that. Not only do they find one of the key initiators for Abrahams, but also they leave with 3 rejuve charges, and it's time to start sieging. It's time to start closing out this game. Buffenjar is going to be playing with a lot of confidence with those rejuves behind. Abrahams need like some kind of a pickoff here. They need to start bleeding out the rejuves, but can you even go for it with someone like Paradox on the deck?
I think pushing out aggressively to look for those picks, probably not. But maybe hunkering up with defense in your own base when you do have Hook, Lasso, and Paradox swap, when we do see the respawn out of Saint, is potentially a viable option.
What do you buy here as Billy? 7K? I mean, he's so 9K. He's so farmed. Definitely thinking about buying a Frenzy. Uh-oh.
Of course.
Good
Frenzy.
luck. Although, hold on. There's a lot of bullet damage on Abrahams. I mean, a Frenzy is going to be good as an offensive tool. Taz, though, too low to be into this one. He has crippling headshot. He has Toxic. He has huge damage, but he doesn't have that much tankiness. Here's Jamside. Needs to have a big fight here. The Ivy is pretty much all of the farm, all of the damage. They just kill Shiv in the execute animation. It saves him for a moment, but he still comes off the rejuve. Sharik is doing the earn meanwhile, and that's a death blow, I think, to Abrahams. Jamside, 32K. I mean, he's like a third of his team's total farm. I mean, you really can't get a bigger pick in this game for Buffenjars, especially considering the rejuves they're working with here.
Yeah, I mean, this lead, it's 35K. It's not really easy to come back from, especially with how little mistakes Buffenjars really makes. And they also do have that reset potential out of Obikim with those frozen shelters. I mean, ABL's trying to make something happen on the right-hand lane, but he's only at 21,000 souls. No way he can stand up head-to-head against Hoot if the catch comes through. And speaking of catch, Zergy's going to be joining the party.
ABL went down into the sewer, but
yeah.
I mean, you just can't. I think ABL knows he's going to die for these plays. You just have to take it anyway, right? You just have to, go for these options. The capacitor to those slows, it means his individual single target catch is insane. The ability to farm in like the early to mid game, clearing waves is actually so fast with this capacitor. And honestly, I like this more than the Ricochet. We used to see always Infernus building Ricochet in the late game, but I think it's more realistic. I think getting value out of capacitor, the single target kill potential is better. The single target DPS is better, which in the end is your bread and butter as Infernus.
Oh.
Great job, Bebop.
Oh, that's a good hook. It's on the Shark, though. Again, not too easy to kill him when he gets the cube up, but they actually managed to do it either way. The final rejuve crystal has been destroyed. And now they refight off the back of this.
Still one left. They don't want to let them out of this fight at all. See if you can find these catches. Abrams, maybe you could pin somebody in. Sharik has to drop the ball and just kind of play his way out of this, but Hoot has now reached the base, has cleared out that side wave. It's going to be rapidly dropping base Guardians. A couple players still on the deck, and I think Buffenjars aren't going to waste any time. There's the last crystal down, though, without the Kelvin. Mina rips the ultimate, trying to get in with the help of that chain gang as well. You're running low on skills. Abrams needs to get out of this, needs to get back into the fountain, but the damage is good. Zergy with the cleanup there. You're popping this laser from Taz is not that effective considering the build he has. Shrines dropping near instantaneously, and Buffenjars say, get out of my game. They're trying to end this one here and now. Who rips the ultimate? It's pretty much the entire map here. Jamside in the sights, being focused fired down in the Ivy, just barely slips back into the fountain though. And Buffenjars maybe have gone a little bit too deep now. Listic very low on the Billy, is going to be caught. Got hooked maybe deep into the fountain there. And Buffenjars is going to have to drop Patron and get out. Abrahams though, they know how desperate the scenario is. They're going to come in, force a fight. Buffenjars is ready though. They're not backing down just yet. They're not giving up. And I mean, Hoot is healthy on this Infernus. He is absolutely massively farmed. Dimov knows how many low targets there are for the execute, continuing to push the limits here, take risks. And this game's over, man. cleanup out of D-Mob. Great executes coming in from him. Jamside, the lone defender, but who's just onto the patron? He's not interested in getting these kills. He wants it. He wants on to the next game, on to that cash prize, $1,000 now with the 1-0 lead coming up for the Buff Enjoyers. And a Manor Dome out of Obikim. Farming stats. Fair enough.
Just trying to keep that KDA up, no? Trying to make it make themselves look better for another org when it comes around yet again. And it looks like Zergy will finish off Jamside, and Buff Enjoyers will finish off Abrahams 1-0 so far in the series. But to be fair, Abrahams, they did a fantastic job of bouncing back in, really punishing and getting these small little advantages here or there when they were already on the back foot. It just came to a crashing halt once that first rejuve was taken.
I gotta say, I think Abraham's overcooked it on this draft, man. Like, I saw the vision with like 2 or 3 initiators, but they had like, what, 4 initiators? I mean, realistically, that's a little bit too heavy. I mean, you were really relying on a tempo game, on an early game win, but I think the fact that Buff Enjoyers had a moderate lead in the early game, once we got farmed, we got deeper into the late game, the comp gap was just too much, right? I think it was shown in that diving under Walker fight where Taz hooks 2 people under Walker, kills them both with Walker stuns, and still you're able to just pile on the numbers, pile on the players, and just force your way to a victory there for Buff Enjoyers.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's not looking good for Abrahams, is it? There's a lot to work with for Buff Enjoyers in this game. A lot that seemed to go quite nicely. And usually I feel like these games can be close enough, Jason, that it comes down to maybe there's just a small draft adjustment. But does this feel like a bigger correction that Abrahams need to find going into that next draft?
I think you kind of put yourself inherently at a disadvantage running a comp like this. Beyond the fact that you have like 3 pick heroes, is because you're kind of required to run around and group together to go for these picks. And there was a massive like soul discrepancy between ABL and Jamside, and ABL is typically one of the most farmed players on Abraham's side, but because he had to be there for these picks to actually work and to get kills, it was really only Jamside carrying the heavy weight of the soul advantage and damage for their team. As Jake pointed out, he was almost at one point carrying about 1/3 of the amount of souls that they had. And I don't think you can do that. I think ABL on the Haze just wasn't able to have the same level of impact he typically would on a Grey Talon or a Pocket of past times.
Yeah, I mean, ABL has, earned such a reputation for like carrying games and being a huge factor in his team's success. If he has like one slow game, it feels like you really do feel that for Abrahams. Who'd also bringing out the Infernus, a pick we barely seen anybody play Infernus. And I think in this game, it actually worked pretty well. Like the ultimates, some of the escapes with the Flame Dash. I mean, he was public enemy #1 and got soaked with like 10 ultimates in some of these fights, but maybe the fact that you had to commit so much into him and then the couple fights where you don't, he's doing just ridiculous damage, kind of tells the story here in terms of how Buff Enjoyers got this win.
Yeah, maybe we will see a return of Infernus in the next match, because it still doesn't feel like something you'd want to ban necessarily, but it's really interesting to see that it is making its way in effectively into this draft. Again, it's so cool to see the changes we get week to week here at the at Night Shift. I almost said our old name, but at Night Shift. But we'll get the stats page up in a second to kind of just peruse and see how that went from the numbers perspective. But Jake, I mentioned it to Jason there, that posing that question. Usually you have maybe an adjustment, maybe a ban here or a different pick there. But as you're saying, there's so many initiators. I mean, we've got to see a complete overhaul of this strategy. So what do you want to see from Abrahams in that next draft? Like, what is the ideal?
Look, I just feel like this is maybe an overreaction from my perspective in terms of like the amount of change up you made. Like, I don't think that, for a team like Lodos, I like that they're going to take a big risk and do something kind of crazy and off the wall and hope that you can kind of get an edge, taking control of the game in that way. But Abrahams and Buff Enjoyers have historically been so close as 2 teams. I would rather see them maybe try to go a little bit more back to basics into a simple draft, straightforward draft. I mean, and talk about Shiv players, man. D-Mob, just the jack of all trades for Buff Enjoyers. Like, what a player to be so good on so many different characters, so many different roles here. Top damage on the Shiv.
You know what? I still say he's the best player in EU. Like maybe he's not #1 on the leaderboards like Hoot is, but I think all around what he can play, what he brings
especially
to the team,
in a team play, yeah.
Like the level of consistency he brings is unmatched by any player I've seen in EU or North America. Not to glaze him too hard.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear it.
I mean, Hoot had a really big game there as well. Like him and Listic getting those opening kills, winning their lane, and then continuing to snowball from there. And I mean, who didn't shy away from the fights this game? Where somebody like Jamside didn't really participate much in the early game, which, to be fair, is pretty much your game plan from Abrahams, to have him just pure farm until he's like, they're enough ahead where he can really activate and become a more effective force in the game. But Hoot was just playing tempo from pretty early on, right? Like, wasn't backing off so much early. Maybe the first few minutes he's not involved in the fight, but just a straightforward draft from Buffenjoyce. I think they consider this one a gift, man, from Abrahams, who went just a little too crazy with the wild draft.
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the reaction is from Abrahams. It felt like there was something going for them. I liked that we did see Jamside. He was keeping up with the farm, but it kept that flame lit for me of hope, that flame of hope. But obviously they ended up getting kind of crushed, the comp not working out. So we're going to go to a quick break, and then when we come back, we will have the second draft to see if Abrahams can right the ship that is currently taken in water from all over the place. We'll see you very shortly. Welcome back to Night Shift. It might be the final map of EU. It could be. It could be. Abraham's got kind of dumpstered on the first map that you maybe just saw. But hopefully this second map will be a different tale. The draft will reveal all. I'm with Jake and Jason. And I don't know, man. I want to see 3 maps from these guys. I don't want to see this trend where Buffenjoyce suddenly become the Hydra Nation of EU. That's not what I want.
Whoa. Calling them... Okay. They've not butchered any teams by taking players away. They don't change rosters when they lose.
That's true. The Baroness Hotel?
More than one original member on the team who has not been kicked off and brought back on. Why are you hating on my boys like that? Actually, I guess it doesn't mean kind of hate on them, but why would you insult them calling them that, man? This has probably been the longest standing roster we've had in Deadlock, actually. Yeah, this is for sure, because ever since Piggy was dropped and Obafemi was picked up, it's been the same roster since.
Well, other than Mikhail's taking a break and Hoot stepping in, but
good point.
That's
I forgot about that.
There's no bad blood there. It seems like that's a team that
natural causes
sticks together. Exactly. Like at this stage in Deadlock, no roster of 6 I think is going to really be exactly identically the same in like a couple years from now. But the fact that they've had that consistency, the Baroness Hotel starting now into forever, man. The power of friendship. We'll see. Maybe you're right. I mean, them winning back to back as a pug team is insane, and I think they might start to catch fire, maybe building some momentum off of that. But that's in NA. That's in the second half of the show. For now, it's still EU, right? It's still Buffenjoyce versus Abrahams, and I wonder, like, what's going on in the scrims for Abrahams to be like. Frankly, it just reeks of desperation. That game 1 draft. It like looks like we went for something really crazy. But I think if you were really confident, you wouldn't have done that. I think if you were really confident, you would have just continued to play heads up, like play more of a straightforward normal draft.
Those losers.
I agree with you for the most part, but I will add on that I like how they forced Buffenjoyce to pick completely different heroes. Like seeing Shiv come into their lineup, seeing, I mean, listed playing Billy's not
Calvin.
too crazy.
You didn't force him to play Shiv, Calvin.
I mean, but like seeing Infernus come out, seeing Shiv come out for them, it forced them to dig deeper into their like hero picks to pull together a draft that made sense. So in that sense, I think it was a success. But obviously, if you're not winning the game, it doesn't really matter if it was a success in the draft phase, right?
Yeah.
Well, nice. Abrahams could get Kelvin here.
I wonder though, do you go for, maybe you do as the opener? I like the Kelvin opener. I like the Kelvin opener so much because I think it forces the enemy team to take Shiv without Kelvin, which is like we've mentioned. It's good. It's not terrible, but it doesn't feel great to have to take that in your top 2.
Yeah, but so Pocket Ivy or like Pocket Abrams.
They could give up to Shiv, but I don't. I'm scared of the Shiv. It was your Shiv Kelvin lane, Jason, just scared me into
it
believing.
Struck fear into your eyes.
Fear into my heart.
Pete, you woke up in the middle of the night sweating from a nightmare. No, to be fair, I got completely wrecked in that lane because you puddle punched me every single time, and I blamed it on lag, but no, I was just
healed,
that was horrible.
Bro. He just healed through it all. And they're gonna take. All right, Ivy goes 1, but all right, this pick is crucial. I think this is like, I mean, I see the idea of taking 2 super high pro picks. Like, you could even take something like a Pocket here that I think ABL would really want to get, since it's not banned out, since they went for the Mina ban this time on Abrahams. And they're going to deny the Shiv Kelvin, though. This is the more straightforward way to play. But now Buffenjoyce finds himself in like a weird spot. Like Abrahams is going to end up with a much more normal looking draft, I would guess, than Buffenjoyce, even though Buffenjoyce might get some really high prio picks.
Pocket Abrams?
I like it. I mean, I'm wondering if Abrams or Bill. I feel like Abrams and Billy. It's really hard for me to see like why one is better than the other right now. I think teams have been prioing Abrams a little bit higher. Maybe just the individual pickoffs and like the late game Phantom Strike build is super powerful. fair enough on that front. But I think Billy's team fighting, Billy has a much better, for me, ability to scale and carry the game if you come off like a really strong early game. I think Billy is a lot more explosive with a better farm speed. And they proud of the paradox. Interesting. Do you ever take Billy? I mean, well, I guess you could ban one of them too, right? I think Buff and Joyers can have their pick of those key frontliners and ban the other. And I don't know what else. If you don't have either or Billy Abrams, it feels pretty tough right now. One of those heroes feels like you almost need it in the current meta.
If there's a ban on Billy, what is Jamside gonna play? Because like his go-to after Ivy has typically been like Gun Billy. He did Gun Yamato last week.
Gun Kelvin though. He's played Gun Kelvin actually. And I'm not even kidding. It's good. Gun Kelvin is legit. Gun Kelvin is legit, especially when it's not in a Shiv lane. I think when you're in a Shiv lane, you're almost obliged to play some more supportive and max those heals. That's like the synergy you go for. But I actually think if you don't get a Kelvin or you don't get a Shiv combo or like, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's another hero that's as good as that combo. And so I kind of like the Gun Kelvin this game. I think it has looked really sick when we've seen it before at a jam side. I kind of hope he goes for it.
I think that's a Mo then going to come through for Saint for the side of Abraham's to kind of pair in with the combo.
I don't mind a Mo at all. I think Mo is really nice. And the Infernus ban? Huh? Okay.
I want to say
like,
partially it's a throwaway ban.
Yeah, but surely there's always something you could ban, right? Like, I guess it protects Mo in a sense. It's like one more stun you might run to deal with Mo, and Infernus is a good way of punishing Mo, but Doorman's another great way to prevent those lockdown initiations.
I think we got Hootman coming to the party once again.
Yeah.
The Hoot Doorman.
What does he build? What does he build on Doorman? Is he going gun? Is he going hybrid?
He's played, I believe, a lot of gun lately, if I'm not mistaken. Like I've been watching his stream, and I mean, to be fair, like everyone plays gun Doorman these days.
Yeah,
I feel like this draft is coming together much more balanced for Abraham's. Like this is an Abraham's draft. This is one that I think I'm much more like. Honestly, you look pound for pound right now. I kind of like where Abraham's is at in the draft a little bit more than Buff and Joyers.
Yeah, the Kelvin opener will definitely start to do that for you.
Yeah.
You were looking to
Billy?
God, right?
Lash.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Here I am.
Bebop, Lash, Paradox. They want all the pick, man.
I mean, I think you rounded out with like a Billy for Abraham.
I will say,
you have a pretty solid lineup.
I like Lash a lot more in this kind of a comp, but I think honestly Buff and Joyers might take Billy here too. I think Billy is really sick into Lash. Like if you can chain him, I think it's really powerful. They have Hayes for more. I mean, this is Buff and Joyers playing a ton of catch and individual initiation. This is honestly kind of Buff and Joyers playing a little. It's not as wild as the Abraham's draft last game, but it's sort of a similar style of like Ivy solo carrying the game, and then a ton of heroes that want to fight in the early mid game and make space for Ivy to get huge. Mirage though is going to kind of take that commitment down. It's going to be a little bit more of a balanced look, but still not much team fight really at all for Buff and Joyers. Pretty much zero team fight, to be honest here. I guess Abrahams and Doorman are like pretty good in team fights, but they're not like key team fighting heroes the way someone like Lash, Kelvin, or just give you this like, really powerful tool to shape the way the fight is going.
I mean, I do like how this is something you've been talking about a ton. Mirage and Ivy on the same team with a global pushing presence.
I was going to say that just having both of those guys on the side lanes is kind of an interesting concept because, you can farm them up. They can just very responsibly be super safe, generally speaking, if they're playing well. I mean, I kind of like the idea here. I mean, I don't think we often ever see Ivy and Mirage on the same team as well. So to see two heroes that have that same kind of that's a dynamic where they can solo push a side lane and be safe, do the damage to the tower, just like farm up a lot. They're really good late game carries. It's kind of an interesting dynamic.
I think this Abraham's draft has a crazy team fight potential, and now they have like two pick heroes, two initiators, which I feel a lot better about, frankly. I think Taz as well on the Bebop will like scale into a semi carry, and into the late game, which is great. I do think maybe it is more likely now that it will be a Kelvin support. Maybe James side on the Billy fits a little bit more naturally, given the draft they've gone for. And I even like Kelvin support this game in general, considering how low on team fight Buff and Joyers are. I feel like you want to commit as Abrahams to being super dominant in the team fights, and I think they're going to be that, man. Like Billy chain, Lash ulti, like both of those are insane setups for the pocket. either all pockets damage plus his ulti, and then Kelvin Dome as well to ensure that your team's not getting, you know, too picked apart?
I think it is going to be a gun Kelvin, by the way. I think Together's going to be on Billy, and Saf's going to be on Lash, Task on Bebop, and Saint on Paradox, like we had Saint last time. I think it's for sure going to be because like what's Together going to play in this comp?
Yeah, otherwise what does he play?
Billy.
Yeah, it could be like a Lash, but it would be weird. It wouldn't really be comfort for them. It's
I'm
a good
excited.
point.
This is like a real. I kind of feel like both teams got a really decent comp. I think Buffingers maybe slightly got outpicked in terms of like team fighting, which is where Buffingers typically excel. I think Abraham's excel more in like these small little skirmishes, catching off guard to get back into games like that. But I don't know. I want to see how the Ivy Mirage is going to work. Because I actually want to look back, Dan, to when we had Ivy not be support, how often we did see Ivy and Mirage paired together. Because I really can't think of a single match on the top of my head where we've had this happen.
Yeah, the double global presence. If you get away with that global split pushing, it's going to be huge. I think for Abraham's, they're going to need to shut it down. I think like Bebop, Lash, and Paradox have to be working overdrive to deny those, you know, TP outs, that Ivy flying out. If you're like responding to split pushes and you're not getting any kills, that's going to really give Buff Enjoyers enough of like a numbers lead elsewhere on the map where maybe that team fight power won't matter. So, I mean, I think there's a theory here for Buff Enjoyers, right? Of like, just don't play the team fights, you know, just play the map split, get an advantage that way. But I think a team as good as Abraham's, man, they are so good at forcing you into those big team fights, forcing objectives. They'll take mid boss without kills, man, just because they think you're too far away on the map. So if there's anyone who can really leverage this power of snowballing and team fighting, I think it's them.
All right, well, here we go into our second match in this best of 3 series. We have our heroes being picked as well. It looks like Zergy will be on the Ivy and Shark over on the Mirage as we expected. Saint actually will be on the Bebop this time, and Task going back to the Paradox, which of course leaves ABL to the pocket and Together on the Billy, as we kind of theorized before. But to see Saint on Bebop, you know what? I feel like Saint is definitely one of the unsung heroes. And of course, he gets parried as I talk about it.
The mind games parry there from Who just baits it out on the Doorman, and that's going to open the lane up with a big burst of damage onto Saint, who, I mean, Bebop is not a hero that can recover HP in the early laning phase. You're in a kind of a rough spot in this lane.
That was, yeah, that's an unfortunate way to start things off. But I was trying to say Saint definitely, I think, in my opinion, one of the unsung heroes on the team. He's had solid play on pretty much every hero we've ever seen him on. But this is going to be a rough start for now. As you can see already, Who putting the pressure on, picks up the bell first, picks up the door second. So we're going to see definitely that barrier come through. It's a level 2 door.
Oh, it's such a sick harassment angle, man. Like, what do you do about this? Like, it's so hard to even play the game. You can't even, like, the spots that you would conventionally think are safe are going to be harassed constantly. And this is also Mirage, Shariq on Mirage. So Shariq getting, I think, definitely a more comfortable pick for him. By the way, Bebop, ooh, those, like, that bell hits, you might die.
I think you go load up Portal and go punch GLaDOS in the face just for making this exist. This whole mechanic of doors and portals is, I mean, Who's been playing a ton of Doorman on a stream. So definitely trying to maximize the potential. Because I think if we're talking about potential on a hero, Doorman has, I think, the highest skill cap by far with what he can potentially pull off in situations.
Maybe it's definitely a hero with, like, from a team perspective, I think you're right. I would say individually, I still favor somebody like Pocket, but oh my, Billy gets parried and absolutely eviscerated there. And that's tough, right? This is your Kelvin lane with, I mean, yeah, Billy maybe is not as potent as Shiv in that lane, but still a frontliner who's able to soak a ton of heals from Kelvin and who should, in theory, profit from that. It's gonna be the item here. 1600 saves, QSR rush, yeah. And I mean, we've seen the Majestic Leap hard rush by Pocket. I've seen this quite a lot. I think this is kind of the meta at the highest level, but before you get this item online, man, it's, you know, the lane's pretty sketchy having no regen.
That was a very nice connect carbine into a hook too. Make it so there's no way for Hoot to escape, because he eventually runs away, but takes a lot of damage for it. The headshot booster has been picked up for Saint, who's going to follow it up with a resto shot. So kind of get that healing back online to help his sustain. And yeah, Jam side, 2.2k on Kelvin paired with Billy. I think that's a lot of pressure on that right hand lane, making it very hard for Zergy and Demov to farm efficiently.
See what happens here. Hook attempted. Good try there. And Satan has restored the HP balance in the lane pretty well. Like that one big trade into Doorman is definitely a great find. Gets carted away though and isn't able to get any of the connections. So pressure being put on. And if you give Mirage Doorman priority, man, this should be a pretty threatening lane. You are kind of relying on those big kinetic carbine shots combined with hooks to equalize in terms of the pressure. Oh my.
I mean, the headshot booster is already put out in some ridiculous damage in this lane. Nice sleep dagger comes through. Ando into charge onto Saf to pull him away, but of course he's just gonna leap away. Not too worried about this one, but still putting the pressure on. Even though Saf is fairly heavy or healthy, and Listic actually the brunt of that damage.
You do damage with that, but I'm a little suspect about that. I mean, tank a lot of tower for that. I think you probably took more damage than you dealt, given that trade. I think Saf's gonna be pretty happy with that one, especially with that QSR on Flog. And ABL very close to having Majestic Leap, right? And he's just hard saving for it. So once you get that online, you're kind of able to immediately just int more or less onto this Haze, who, by the way, just got slammed to the ground. Hoot's here on the early roam, though. Doesn't have ultimate online. It's just taking a roam off the mid lane super early. So Shriek's have to hold that one. Oh, but he doors back to the mid lane. Okay, so he's trying to use door to show up on a roam, and now he's going to be back into the mid lane. Sleep is good. Majestically from Pocket, big damage, full procs on Pocket though, 4 stacks of yeah, with that first skill, very powerful. Oh my god, I can't believe he didn't parry that. Insane read from ABL. Oh, but it's not enough.
Seismic Impact came in and still managed to get the stun. And you saw Saf, he ran away with just a sliver of health as he went back to base to heal. So we might not see the Guardian go down here, as Listic will actually fall to it with some decent damage being done. Together's been able to respond though this time over onto Zergy in that right-hand lane. Of course, the shelter is still available to be used. The chain gang being used to pull Dima back in, and it's just going to be a one-on-one battle here, and it looks like Together's going to win out on this one.
Yeah, chain gang over the top, just way too much. A couple lanes get pushed, but a big roam from Abraham's actually pays off there. And they're able to put a lot of damage on this Guardian. It's a little bit risky to go for that early dive. He is going to be able to take down that Guardian, and with the help of Kelvin, with the dome behind, yeah, a little too scary for Zergy to commit into that one.
Fantastic start for Abraham's. Already a 2k lead so far, and doing fairly well across their lanes. I mean, the fact is, like, jam side gun Kelvin's still going to be annoying. You're still going to have the frozen shelters to provide to your teammates, and we've already seen him have a lot of success on the gun Kelvin before, and they already have a better team fighting comp too. So I kind of worry for Buffingers if you don't kind of bounce back a little bit here, even though it is, you know, equal in souls. When you get into these skirmishes, they're gonna kind of get slaughtered unless they can make the split push work well.
Yeah, and Taz is, I mean, big damage, man. He's absolutely all in with the damage. Here's that dome coming in, baited the parry out, and yeah, that should be death here for D-Mob. Has to gamble those parries. Caught in the frozen shelter. And I mean, Billy plus Calvin, man, the amount of like lockdown and like inability to escape this. Think about, you know, even someone like Ivy, right? Even if you get that flight off, isn't going to be enough. Mirage slipping away. Maybe has done enough here, but they're roaming into this lane. Lash is here, and they're able to kill Mirage. You have to Doorman ult just to deny Saf the chase down, but he's just going to block that damage with the reactive barrier, and totally happy. Been a remarkably stable early game, though. Only one Guardian down here at 7 minutes, although it seems like that's about to change.
So much damage that Listic's just soaking up too. He dropped almost 1,000 there. Ever being used. The ground strike comes through, does not connect onto Shark though, so he'll be able to escape for now. The Guardian's already about half HP. Zergy looking for the Goomba stomp on top of Saint's head, but he's not able to connect it. But he's going to continue to go for the push here. He's looking for the task kill.
Yeah, Zergy committing in on this. Doorman as well as here. A couple players very low HP. Saf as well, super low. The hook in, not quite good. Doesn't pull him around the corner. And the reactive barrier, enough HP to protect the Doorman. Zergy flying him out, just ensuring Hoot's safety. Hoot's maybe thinking about sticking around here in this mid lane. A little bit risky, but they don't want to give up that mid lane Guardian. They know how quickly it is going to go down. I think dodging that is going to be good. Chain gang just makes it too scary to come in for the contest, but they still get the pull on the Doorman, knocking him up as well. The follow-up is good. And Together is off to a very hot start in this game, a 4 kill streak for him. And this looks like a much better early game here for Abrahams.
That was amazing. That was really cool to see the chain gang in and the perfect combo to confirm that kill into Hoot. Also the Guardian to boot. 3k souls in the lead at the moment. And ABL, we saw the last time he played this exact build, he got so far ahead of everyone when it came to farm. Not quite there just yet. But then again, Together's kind of hogging all the limelight right now at 7.7 thousand souls. And I think this is where things get really dangerous for Buffingers. They need to figure out some sort of way to kind of stop the rot. I know it's still only a 2k soul difference, but where the souls are going is going to be very important for the side of Abrahams for them to deal with.
Yeah, both teams stealing each other's double sinners here. So it looks like to be a trade in the sinners department. That lack of a mid guardian, though, is going to make this a little bit scarier for Doorman to stick around in. Raj does find Bebop maybe a little bit overextended, but with Billy there, yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to really get the punish off. You got to be scared of those hooks, especially with Tornado down.
Zergy. I mean, still got together. He's got Hoot to maybe help him out. And actually, he will get away. Hoot's going to be there to protect him. Doesn't need a door to escape this one. And they may even go for the chase. You can see D-Mob, he's looking for Jam Side. Who does have QSR already picked up. Resto shot. Extended magazine with Cultist to boot. This is very scary. The fact that like Jam Side can play this aggressive and this far up in the enemy jungle and really not be under threat of being punished.
It's a power gun Kelvin, right? You know, you don't necessarily want that fight. Pretty much no one's going to be able to 1v1 a Kelvin with Frozen Shelter, and just the threat of that is enough to ensure he can steal some farm, right, and expand the lead. Although the lead right now, minimal. Let's take a look at Obakim when we get the chance to see how he's building, right? He's been one of the players that has made this like roaming semi-support Haze actually really work in the past. And it's been a quiet game for him so far, but I actually like that. I think Haze too early on the roams is not good. He's actually gone for very straightforward build up to this point, but now building into the silence wave, that is what allows him to really get active. So the next 1600 souls is going to be a game changer, although getting caught by Billy isn't the fight you wanted.
No Frozen Shelter going down. Just gets knocked up and bashed back down, and he'll fall. In the meantime, Ern has been picked up by Task 2, looking to run it across the map as they're trying to defend and push in towards another walker. And actually they retreat away. I think they want to, they're more focused on securing the urn than getting damage onto that walker and making sure it does get across this map pretty easily. As you can see, a little bit of pressure onto Task as he's forced to drop it for now, while Listic was just popping a couple of shots at him. And they did you completely? Oh, there we go. Never mind.
Maybe committing on the urn is risky. They do have the dome though to secure it, which could be a good use. I mean, I think Jamside may be itching to get a little bit of economic value out of the dome. And you got players coming in from Buffingers, but it might be too little too late. Oh, they're trying to delay it, but I mean, I think the fact that this door is here means it's very awkward to successfully dome it. And he's been hit from the Baroness Hotel there. Caught in the dome. Can he door out? He's so close. Slips out the other side, but Jamside's through too. Hold on, Jamside came a little bit too deep for that. Couldn't find the kill and is going to get executed there. Coming into enemy territory. And I think the urn drop was good for Abrahams, but are the counter trades going to be strong? Taz, remember, he's all glass cannon with this build. Could find himself in a bit of trouble here in the mid game. Oh, caught on the lip is Listic. Now in a bit of trouble, gets the stun on Billy, but Billy absolutely going to shrug that one off. Coming for the cleanups. Oh, but the damage is good, man. The follow-up. Zergy is just a monster already. Only 11k souls. I can't believe he was able to kill together that fast.
The rest of the team was there to help him out, and you can see immediately Abrahams, they go for a big push on the left-hand side, trying to take down this last Guardian and get that first flex slot unlocked. Nothing Who can do about this as he quickly heads towards this direction. And even D-Mob trying to come in from behind, but it quickly realizes, yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to take this one, even with Obakim to his side. So a good response, and you know what, Abrahams, I think they're playing their macro game so much better week in and week out. Their decision making is quick, efficient, and generally always the right move as well. Like realizing there was no way they can contest that right hand side, to immediately send the push on towards the left to get the flex shot to punish the position Buffingers were in was perfect.
Still, I think this is the type of game, game state really, where Buffingers, this is their bread and butter, right? All walkers online, and now this is where the macro really gets difficult because there's no obvious next objective. I mean, there's playing for the urns, but as we've seen with the Doorman, it really complicates that plan for Kelvin to get those easy urn secures. Maybe that's been actually, I think, a pretty important reason is, oh, big damage, Silence Wave follows up, and you just don't have any escapes on Lash. He does get out just long enough to be able to dash in, but I think he's bleeding to death. Yeah, 3 knife shivs getting that cleanup. D-Mob now continuing on, looking for some more kills. The trade is back, though, the other way, and a hook onto Hoot is a great find. You would love to start things off onto the Doorman.
No backup there for them, though. No way to confirm that into a kill. So just a 1-for-1 trade, as we see at the very end of that fight. I think it's time to take a look at maybe some of the farm here and where it's allocated at. So they're getting 14,000. Jamside is catching up at 14k as well. I'm kind of wondering though, ABL, he's just really not been involved in a lot of these fights. I mean, you see he's got 1 death, 2 assists. He's just been off farming, but he's still trying to catch back up to where Zergy was.
Yeah, maybe playing a little bit more for the late game. I like that some of the prio is coming in to challenge on the Sinners. This turns out to be a bit of a fight here. Sap does have the ultimate. He's looking for that connection on the Lash. Doorman hit with the Spirit Sap. Playing a little bit slow for the moment. Looks like both teams are going to be down to back off that engagement. Two players, though, on Zergy's just defending that Walker 1v2, so a little bit of a player advantage. Initial catch on the jam side. You don't want to be forced to dome defensively here, especially on the gun Calvin, who wants that to be the Thunderdome, right? Where you're able to turn and burn a kill.
Oh my god, Lissy's just trying to get away
He's
here.
in trouble. Oh, can he make back to the Walker? It's actually really close to get around the corner, and the regen from Abrams is just good enough there. Quite a few skills committed. They don't get the kill.
We're going to see the next urn come up in just under a minute time. I think maybe we're going to start to see
moonwalking here for a second. D-Mob, DC'd and moonwalking backwards.
So that ice cream cone you were talking about, Dan. What flavor ice cream cone would Shiv's hair be?
Wait, what is this? Is he stealing? Wait, no, this is the Sinners that's just there. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, you can see the outside or the output door over at the bridge buff. So he's just taking this really quickly and he's going to head over.
I wonder if you can do it
buff.
from the bridge side. Like, could you punch the Sinner in the back?
Don't know.
Dude, there's some
Never
hot
tried.
tech going off in this game. I think like now that I've seen this, I can't unsee it. Like one of the things that made Kelvin so broken for so long was just doming for urns. It's like you just get every urn for free. It's so you have to shut the Kelvin down so preemptively to deny the urn. That was like a big. I mean, Kelvin is still a great hero. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that Doorman, the door kind of prevents that. It's like if this is sitting there with a door, are you really gonna wait there for like 30 seconds to try and wait that out to get the dome and cap the urn? And so I think that has. I'm really glad that there's some way to interact with that. I think Kelvin doming for free urns was sort of a ridiculous mechanic at this level of play, given how important that objective is for the late game soul lead.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen it like happen in mid boss as well. It gives you an easy way to like protect mid boss or sort of contest it. But at the same time, I was kind of theorizing last week. I think it was with Dan. I think it was casting with Dan. Where the doorman could actually be pretty good to counter a Kelvin ultimate depending on the position you're fighting. If you preset a door down and Kelvin's ultimate encompasses a wall of some sort, I think you can escape from that.
Yeah, I think you can.
Think if you're a Kelvin, you're probably not doming your walls if possible.
But like, how the hell do you? Good luck, man. Are you not near any wall when you press dome? I feel like that's so difficult to actually do. And I think being able to escape the door, the Kelvin ulti adds a wrinkle into the team fights where normally with the Kelvin ulti, you just throw down everything, guaranteed it's going to work. It's going to pay off. Now that's a bit in question here in this game. And Sharik and Zergy, like they're kind of, mission accomplished so far. They're getting the farm. Still though, I think as we get into some of these mid boss team fights, that's where I think the advantage is going to be pretty large for Abraham. So I think Buffingers need to have these fights out of the objectives, maybe in a little bit more of a lower numbers fashion, playing on the split push. I mean, you talk about ABL not participating in the fights. I think he's just defending the side lanes, right? I think he's just trying to prevent. Together's going to sub in here. Certainly makes sense. But I think he's just trying to prevent the split push. I think there's a lot of like pure lane cleanup duty needed for Abrahams in this game, considering the Buff and Jars draft.
But I do wonder though, because with ABL in particular, like I feel like he needs to be in these fights. I mean, I guess he technically doesn't need to be because you have Saf to facilitate, you have Saint to facilitate, Task to facilitate. Then you're really banking on like Together and Saf to do most of the damage. But then again,
as long
who
as
would
he's
you want to
getting
send to do cleanup?
Like Pocket's one of those heroes, right? Like the early game he starts slow. He goes, he's got Colt Sack and Majestic Leap, these items that are important for scaling and for being able to just play the game properly on Pocket. But they're not giving you real damage. And then, you just show up sometime with like E-Shift and Spirit Burn, and so you're a completely different hero. The amount of bursts goes through the roof. So I feel like ABL, I kind of like the idea of him just defending lanes consistently, being that safe 1vx lane defender that you can't really split push into. And then later in the game, I think he will start to show up and then could have maybe a much bigger impact than trying to like force some sort of a tempo game early.
But who's going to have more impact, let's say at 35, 40,000 souls? Zergy on Ivy or ABL on Pocket? I think maybe that's the question we should be asking.
True. True, that's a problem. If you stall too late, even people like Obikim is going to start to activate. I mean, that's one of the things I think is interesting about this roaming haze style is like at some point in the game when you just start maxing out all your skills and everybody is up to that like 30k souls, like the raw bullet damage that you basically build a raw attack speed on haze and you kind of become a beast just even damage wise. Like that ultimate in the ultra late game, you get unstoppable and you know, that's like jumping onto the patron when it's down and just ripping your ult. And there's not much people can really do about that.
You had a question before about hitting sinners in the back, by the way. And Goober tested that you cannot hit the sinners from behind. So
that's good. You have to be on the zooms.
Apparently, there's another comment in here about Deadlock denying gamers from hitting it from the back, I guess, which is, you know, it's fair with the sinners. Also, we had Nick the Demon. He said Shiv's hair is a cone of licorice ice cream. I don't know how I feel about licorice.
I don't know if I can unsee that. I don't know if I can unsee that.
What about like sesame ice cream? Because like sesame ice cream can be black.
Okay. Now you're cooking some sesame ice cream. I got a question.
While we're doing a bit of trivia, here's a question for you. How much bonus health do you think Obikim has from golden statues this game?
Obikim. Right now, he's probably doing a lot of statue farming roaming.
15.
15?
It's at 0 right now. That's the part that's interesting to me. So like Obikim is just straight up not taking any of the statue farm. And it's basically buff enjoyers are making a conscious effort to put most of their statue farm on Listic and Zergy. Meanwhile, for the Abraham side, it's ABL that's taking the most along with Together.
Are you on a plane, ZP? Are you on a plane?
I am not. Why? What's going wrong?
It gets real hot in Minnesota, so he's got to crank that AC or fan on.
Okay, you think you're kidding right now? You realize it's 90 degrees this weekend somehow in October in Minnesota.
It's been over 100 degrees here in Italy, and we don't have air conditioning.
100. Okay, well that's just a failure of Italian planning, though. That's I don't know what to tell you there, Jason.
I mean, green not wanting to destroy the world because humans haven't adapted to heat when they should. Stuff like that.
Yeah, looking forward to watching you evolve and adapt, bro.
I can't hear you, man.
Keep me up there with pics of your progress, bro.
Hey, those pics are only for you and me, Uber, okay? Just remember that. I have pictures from you back in Cologne of your workout. I mean, to be fair, you had a six-pack, so I can't really harsh on you too much.
Oh, you should see me now, bro.
I will soon. I mean, wait, what?
Somebody's got to get Dima a phone tether. We need to level up the backup internet game plan here.
This may be the longest pause that we've ever had since us as a crew have been putting on productions in Deadlock. I can't think of a pause that's gone longer than this one.
Well, luckily we have a rule that if the pause lasts for 10 minutes, then the person who's disconnected has to shave their eyebrows. So Demo.
Thank God we put that in the rule book, or else we'd
when
be
are
in
you
real
doing
trouble.
the little shave in your eyebrow, Jason? I'm pretty sure we hit that sub goal, right?
We didn't. No, we never hit 1K. We're 25
my sub goal is
subs.
a million.
25 subs away, guys. And
but
Jason
I'm not doing
put that
anymore,
notch in his
last show.
eyebrow.
Actually, we talked to your wife, and it was just like one more sub, and you shaved the mustache. And
that was not my wife. My wife is not allowed phone privileges. Okay.
Whoa.
Kidding.
You do have a Joseph Fritzl look to you, honestly, at the moment, so that's fair.
I don't know who that is.
I don't get that joke.
Yeah, that's a dark one. We won't be explaining that. We won't be explaining that.
All right, we'll let that one go.
Yeah, everyone has Google.com.
Il caso
right?
Fritz è un fatto di... It's all in Italian. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Do not read it on air.
What do you guys think they're
Italian.
saying in Cyrillic here? Give me a guess translation. You fucking kidding me, bro?
You guys should read the Cyrillics as if it's like the closest letter in the English language.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. You can do it from his mobile phone.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Dude, what? That's crazy.
My own heart.
Let the club go to... So is he going to beat his PC with the club? Or is he going to the
PC
club
cafe.
with his PC?
Smash your
PC
computer.
cafe.
The files are in your computer.
I mean, if he disconnects, he can't... if he can't rejoin the game, right? So...
Yeah, then he'd have to... I mean, they'd have to play out 5v6. And in a game like this, it's just over if you 5v6. Surely. Especially losing Shiv.
Can we just marvel at the fact we just got that live translated visually?
I know it's pretty
Via production team?
is
All right.
next level.
That's insane. What? Oh, only we saw it? Okay, unlucky. Unlucky for you guys.
Oh wow, that sucks actually.
Okay, wait. We got an update. Direct from the source from Lightbringer, as we're just going over rules of how long a pause could go or if they had subs. Quote: Dimov rejoined voice chat.
Oh, Bogger?
He's
back. I was starting to lose faith. Let's go, baby. Locked in. What the hell is going on with this game, Jason? I lost all touch with reality. I went through the doorman portal.
If this pause lasted any longer, we're just gonna have to have Mitch do poses for us on cam of his muscles.
Dude, I do actually need to work on. If I ever want to actually they're
hunting
be
him.
remotely serious.
Welcome back into the server, D-Mob. Welcome back, bud. We're so happy you came. Just slaughtered. They had perfect time to commit on that. But then again, maybe he was already in dire straits being in that position.
Mr. Blaze, get out of here. Ain't happening. You had your chance last week. You fell short. It's not my fault. I ain't shaving my eyebrow. There ain't the slick going in it right now. Maybe one day when I go back to and back to the Walker. Return to sender for Hoot.
Yeah, and I just locking it down as well.
See, if he had a door down before he got pulled, he could have doored that wall and gotten out.
True.
Be better, Hoot.
True.
Be better.
That was a nasty hook from Saint right there. Like that was clean, man. He predicted the dash as well. It's what you need to be doing to land hooks on players on this level, right? You can't just be always having the setup. You got to find those, read the movement ahead of time type of plays. And Abraham's wasting no time and continue to push the tempo of this game. Getting a kill on Obakim would be a great start. And Lash just finds that big nuke and resets out of it. He's going to be happy with that. And I like the idea of forcing an earn here. I'm not sure Buffingers are going to be ready to fight this. The map position they're showing, they just want to maybe trade and find a walker, but it looks like a pretty free earn to me.
Hoot's gonna give it a try at least.
He's thinking, but he needs to get the door down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna. Yeah, free earn. Good read there. And Abraham's, the last few trades, right? A few minutes after the pause, they've come right back in. They haven't lost any momentum at all. Buff Enjoyers caught lacking a little bit. They need to kind of right the ship here.
Oh, so SK came into chat and just shut down Goober and said they went into a custom and can confirm they're able to give every center back shots to the doorman's door. So Goober, you got some explain to do, Mr. DLNS winner. One time. Sneaky golems.
Science is being done here on the stream. Shout out to our brave experimenters. Big catch here. Onto Obakim. This is one who wants to initiate. He doesn't want to be caught. Doesn't have the tankiness. The sleep is good on the Billy. Delays for a moment, and Obakim maybe just played his way out of this. He's caught. They're trying to right up. There's a lot of players coming back in to follow up. ABL's deep for that one, though. Is he going to be able to get out? Has an affliction. And, oh, man, this is starting to go from bad to worse here. Buff Enjoyers throwing good money after bad. 2 players down. And there's a thought of even going for, like, a Walker siege here.
Enjoy our hospitality.
He's ready to frozen shelter for a second. He was about to pop in to lock in.
Yeah, he wanted to.
And he got away.
Coming, though. And they're able to get the Walker down for that. So mid Walker, though, I think is definitely going to be better. I mean, Abrahams are going to be really psyched. Get mid Walker early. We don't see that very much at this level, right? Just a very challenging objective to take. And so getting a couple kills right around that. I mean, Abrahams, I think in a great position to they find like one good fight here. It's going to be mid boss. And remember, Abrahams has a better team fight. So I really think maybe just one pick could be enough. Another silence wave onto Pocket. Also transcendent cooldown, man. This Pocket is going to be really annoying to catch.
Mystic expansion too. Make that affliction hit even more targets. And obviously that'd be the perfect place to fight because you have 2 really good ultimates for controlling ground with the frozen shelter and with the affliction on top of that. Not to mention you have a Lash in there.
Yeah, Lash and Billy.
Abraham's go for it.
I feel like I think it's too crazy to just go for it like completely with no openers. But man, you get like 1 kill on a key player. Could be something to look for. Zergy has capacitor. I wonder what he's going to be. I mean, what do you really purge this game? I guess you could purge the Billy's passive, right? That could be pretty nice.
I mean,
Aside from just
I think
slow.
the capacitor is just like a different version of Ricochet. It's not picked up specifically for removing buffs, but just kind of like a mini Ricochet plus the slow, so you can either escape or chase really easily. Like a super solid item. I know we had this this rant I think a couple of weeks ago of trying to think of all the things it could actually take away, but I think the answer we got was just about the other mechanics of it. But take away Blast would obviously take away a lot of the extra healing that Together might need in these fights. But then again, you got Jam Side to heal. You got a Frozen Shelter to heal.
Obakim hoping to set up something onto this Kelvin. And with the silence wave, with no walker there, it's a deep play, but if you get it off, it could be really valuable, right? Jamside and ABL are the biggest threats here. Oh, the charge just barely swapped away, surviving the full package there, committed out from Abrams. But the first kill is on to Saint, who traded right back. Ultimate from Obakim, but dodged away. Jamside fully out of that one. Ooh, risky melee there. Ends up getting it off. Chain is good. Does pull that Abrams, mitigating some of the value. And I think Abrams is trying to get out of this. Buffenjoy is recognizing the fight not really going their way. Maybe the 1-for-1 is as good as it's going to get.
Is this mid boss?
They might go for it. It's not free though, and you use a lot of key ultimates. You do have Death Slam, but I mean, Listic is low, and he's trying to heal up right now. Sharik is clearing a walker for this, so trading walker for mid boss. Not too bad, but I mean, there's a chance Buffenjoy could try and get a contest off. I feel like they're a little too late though. Yeah, I think they just have to give this one up. And I mean, they're going to have to be okay with just clearing out another side walker, but that second walker, Jason, doesn't really move the needle in a huge way. It is nice for this Buffenjoy's draft, given how much split pushing they want to do, but the team fighting issues just got bigger for the Buffenjoyers. They're not really going to be able to step at all to the front line.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, one really good way to counter split pushing is you just like full send it in one direction. You know they can't hold up against you. It seems like they're doing just that here on this left-hand side. Yeah,
and Obakam just dead to rights. You get hooked in this moment in the game, you're done. There's no way anyone from Buffenjoy is coming back in to save them. And the problems are starting to expand. You know, and I think Abrahams have no problem with losing the sidewalkers here and just playing for that mid-map control. They haven't lost any damage in the mid-walker. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I think there's going to be a little bit of a long winter here for the Buffenjoyers, sitting on the back foot and trying to just slowly drive a comeback. But, like, do you contest this urn? That's a really big decision. I think for now you will. Abrahams have maybe more players than you would expect here on this left side lane.
Melissa just teleported out, so to me that says no way they're going to contest it.
Yeah, but they only have 3 players here, right? But maybe it's just the door is there. Maybe I mean, honestly, Doorman alone with the door is putting a lot of presence. It's like, are you?
Well, the shelter's not there, so like, that's the big thing. If the shelter's not there, it's definitely possible to go for the fight here. But unless Listic gets bursted down, that's like in the enemy jungle on the other side of the map. As the Urn has been contested, looks like they haven't been able to defend it for now. Still trying to go for the chase onto Listic.
He gets that Billy. Will go straight through the door onto the Doorman, trying to double down onto this. Can Doorman play his way out of this though? Seems to have done so for now, but Dimov maybe being left out to dry. Yeah, Jamside hunts that one down deep there in the mid lane. And it feels like the Buffenjoyers are starting to lose control of this one, Jason. It feels like every one of these trades for the last few minutes has gone Abraham's way. Hoot has Divine Barrier. That could be nice in dealing with the Pocket, but your problems are so much bigger than Pocket at this point as ABL racks up another one, as I say it.
And Obikim getting caught on the left-hand side too, I believe that is. So I don't know if there's going to be a chance for them to fight their way out of this one. Looks like Listic will join in, but it's not going to matter. Another walker being taken too. And Abrahams have cracked open this door. I mean, 23,000 souls in the lead now, the biggest lead they've had so far in this series. And it's honestly showing no signs of stopping.
Missed combo. Tried to pull them deep under. Has to ult this Kelvin, but I don't think the Kelvin is really going to be upset about this. I mean, he's going to be able to slip out of the hotel and take that fight. You're going to go all in, though. I think this is the moment for Buffenjoyers. Put the chips down on the table. They pull one deep with the charge, I think, actually. So the follow-up was there. Can they kill him a second time? No. No shelter available. And oh my god, he's carded so deep under Walker. He's going to get stunned. The follow-up to execute is good. No reset, though, for T-Mob. Looks like he's prioritized other skill points. It's a good start to the fight, having one player fully dead. Maybe you can look for more. Maybe you can get rid of this reju for Buffenjoyers. Hopeful moment for them. See if Zergy, he's trying to continue this chase, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And he's going to have to satisfy themselves with one kill.
Let's stick together.
Hey, not a bad start to get back into this one. They were down 23,000. Now it's been cut a little bit. Some lanes to clear up as well. And maybe Abrahams is going for a catch. He actually might be able to get Listic here. Listic, not even overextended. He's in his own jungle, but you can see how many members on Abraham's side are going to be here to look for the fight. And I think they did get a swap onto him.
Oh, can he play his way out of this? No, man. Taz said, give me the Paradox this game. I'm taking over. I'm taking over. Showing why. Oh, whoa. Crazy plays here. Divine Barrier, though, is good. But hold on. What are you going to do about that Billy? He's diving under the Walker. He has some chains on, but can you do this, Billy? I mean, there's a lot of Buffenjoyers here ready to try and make this defense, but maybe not quite enough as Zergy's not here. Maybe you don't have the damage. D-Mob is caught. surrounded, locked down on the Shiv. Even the Shiv doesn't have the tankiness, that toxic bullets that it looks like Bebop has that item. Able to mitigate a lot of the healing, and Buffingers, they're just getting stat checked at this point in the game. It's a draft that needed to play from ahead, and now they find themselves pretty severely behind.
And Saf had a great death slant in to throw in Dimov and Listic one more time to look for the kill. Or sorry, it wasn't Listic, it was another teammate of his. And ABL, again, he's really not being involved in these fights, but now he's up to 34,000 souls. I mean, Zergi's at 35k. He's got crippling headshot now. Like, Zergi is a very, very big threat. But I don't know if his team, who's, you know, kind of fallen behind. I mean, Obi came at 20k, Listic at 17k. I mean, Listic is really far behind everyone on the other side except Saint. He's really a non-threat whatsoever in these fights now.
He's just a walking shoulder charge, and then that's the challenge of playing Abrams from behind. You just aren't tanky anymore, and I think a lot of Abrams' playstyle relies on not necessarily needing to commit the charge right away to be able to be a bit of a threat before that comes off. For now, though, I think he's going to be reduced to like comboing on Doorman, you know, being that second line of defense. I think he just really can't initiate first. But also Rove Enjoyers, who does? I guess it's Obikim, but this phase in the game with players so grouped up, Hayes is just not the initiator you're looking for, really.
I mean, I'm worried about Dimov. I mean, Shiv can obviously do some great things, but when you're only at 17k as well, there's not much you can really do in these fights except be an ult bot, which you don't, I think, have maxed out still. At least he's going to get caught out. Jamside's not even here for the party. No one sent him an RSV or sent him an invite for it. And Shark might be getting caught out, which is, again, one of the most fed players on the team who manages to get the air in the meantime to maybe pull it back in towards his own side of the jungle and get themselves some extra souls that they desperately need. But still, the damage has been done. Man advantage for Abrahams, and that base is looking tasty.
Saint thinking about a hook here. He's a little bit deep in that mid lane. And the urn turn in, I think, is very likely to be contested from Abrahams. Taz is a little bit low, and Yahoo, okay, he knows. This one's not going to be for free, especially with Bebop and Lash. But there's a lot of key ultimates Abrahams don't have here, and Buffingers is still sold. Although they're 5 players of the soul disadvantage, they have more ultimates. Kelvin thinking about zoning away, but maybe that door being down is just a little bit too easy to secure on.
Uh-oh.
Did they hook something? Was that
No, Dimov.
He's pulled in and sheltered, caught out completely, and a massive lash hold on everybody else who's trying to get in, trying to add a little bit of assistance to it, but seems to be no chance for the Buffingers in this fight. Whoever's in is dead to rights. Zergi as well, all in, just forcing something to happen here. The players are coming in to try and bail out their main carry, but it's just not enough. Abrahams have reached that critical mass in the game, and they should be evening up this series 1-1. At least going to be able to open the shrines and drop that first stage patron right now.
Yeah, no stamina, I think, for the escape out of Jam side, but it doesn't really matter. Obikim and Hu are the 2 left to defend against us, as the base guards are going to be cracked open, as well as the shrines.
Oh, nice parry. Oh. Spell parry is good, but just not enough.
Yeah, it seems like nothing's going to be enough for buff enjoyers in this game anymore.
They're just going to grab the rejuve. I think this is the right play. I think what, 1v6? What are you going to do here, man? This is truly is going to take a miracle. Does he have a vortex web? Can he like vortex web cart them or something? I truly, that's like the only thing I can even imagine. And he's sending a lot of Abrams players out to look for him. They know he's desperate. They know he's going to look for something cheeky here. And he's caught, silenced. Yeah, I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't here for Hoot. Surviving for a second, but
God.
I mean, yeah, it's just 3 players hunting him down, 4 rejuves, and this almost certainly is the end of the game here. All waves crashing on the Buffingers base. Still quite a few of them off the respawn. Okay, the mistook for now. Stay of execution.
I mean, as the respawns come through, who still in 40 seconds, you have to force a fight here. But I mean, Saf has Death Slam, so can you even afford to leave your base? Well, you're going to be leaving one way or another. Either it's going to be the hook or on your own volition. And Listic tries to go in for the save with that shoulder charge. Now just trying to escape, but has no chance as ABL just explodes on him. And yeah, this is going to be it. Abraham's going to close this now. The first stage patron going to be transformed. And it's going to be a tied series at 1-1 apiece, and a fantastic comeback here to Abrahams in this match.
Yeah, and I think Abrahams has had a much sharper draft here. One where the team fight was on point, and it was them who put Buffingers on a clock, who was like, hey, let's play for the late game. We know we're going to be able to outplay you around these objectives. And Buffingers, trying to play that tempo style. For both these teams, it's proven that you need to have, I think, an ability to handle the late game team fighting. And I mean, they're diving the spawn, they're stat farming, number of players off the field. So obvious, easy cleanup for Abrahams, as you said, to even the series 1-1, to take us to a game 3. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised these two teams, the quality that they bring to the game, I mean, a tiny edge in the draft seems to make the difference. And honestly, whoever's second pick, I feel like you got to ban Kelvin. I think the Kelvin is doing overtime work here for each of these teams that they've gotten in their respective winning games.
I mean, it's Kelvin or it's GT at this point.
Yeah, GT permaban so far.
Yeah, you got to get rid of them. I mean, this is the story of a Deadlock game, right? That's why best of 3 is that's the business that in terms of how you should play this game, because the evolution draft to draft is, you know, it just tells so much of the tale. I wonder how that will change, guys, as we get deeper into Deadlock history and we get more heroes, you know, maybe more mechanics. You know, maybe that will change how this goes. But for now, it seems like the writing's on the wall in terms of those bans. Now, with regards to buff enjoyers, you know, what do you feel like they did well here, despite obviously not managing to take this second map? What do they do well?
I mean, prior to that extended pause, right, it felt like buff enjoyers were eking out just a smaller and smaller lead, just growing it little by little, playing the way you want to, I think, with this kind of pick-oriented split push draft where you're splitting the enemies apart, you know, finding, you know, opportunities here and there. But it felt like once we got to that phase of the game where ABL is fully online, where Jamside is you know, properly farmed, and Sap is initiating every fight with, you know, some big Lashalls followed up on Together's Billy, of course, that the game fell apart, right? You're just not able to balance this team fight. You just don't have the tools, given this draft you went for as buff enjoyers.
I gotta say, I really loved the presence of Doorman in this game. I like. Are we gonna see this again, Jason?
I don't know. Like, I'm actually kind of sad to see like Hoot play the Doorman over like Pocket, if they could have grabbed Pocket earlier on in the actual drafting phase. But I mean, it's a possibility. The thing is, like with Hoot, he's so flexible as a player that he could just bounce to a different hero in the next game. I don't think his Doorman was bad. He definitely had some great plays, especially with the cart. I think it was just an all around like team comp problem, and obviously they're not meant for team fighting. I think maybe the Mirage didn't fit too well. Maybe they need a better bruiser to come in instead of him to have more of a 5-on-5 fight to allow Zerg and ABL to farm off to the side, or Jam side if it was him. But I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. It kind of reminds me of the overlapping archetype that we had in the first match to a certain extent. Not as bad, where we had, you know, just like 4 different initiators, but having two heroes that can kind of do somewhat of the same role between Ivy and Mirage. Obviously, like performing it differently. It feels like Ivy pound for pound does everything that Mirage can do, but just better. Obviously, Ivy is one of these super high value picks right now as well. So I guess we'll see. Jake, what's your takeaway here as we are closing out this second map?
I think the reason we won't see Doorman in this next game is that I think Kelvin's going to get first ban. And I think that was, for me, what made the Doorman look pretty good, is as a way to respond to Kelvin, to be able to allow you to, especially the urns, right? You know, Kelvin getting free urns is ridiculous. At this level of the game where things do get a little bit stalemate in the mid game, if the teams are really evenly matched at an even souls, urns are the way that you break that open and earn yourself an advantage. Earn yourself an advantage. And Kelvin Dome just guarantees that. And so I think we've got to see Kelvin banned. And I think buff enjoyers should be first pick, right, going into this next draft. And so I think it's going to be Abrahams who have to ban the Kelvin. I don't think you can give this pick away.
All right. Anything to add, Jason, before we go to that break?
I feel like, I don't know, Jam side wasn't super effective, but him and Together in lane really got things snowballing for Together to have the initial strength they needed off the get-go. I think Together obviously played a massive part, being a part of their 22 of 30 kills. But Jam side kind of became less effective later on. I think it was mostly about the fact that he could just dome one person, you get a guaranteed kill, and you have a 6v5 now. That's going to be a very hard fight to lose considering how far you're ahead. I mean, ABL even coming in with the most player damage. I mean, I know it's Pocket, but considering how little of the fights he was actually involved in, only being in 14 of the 30 kills, I'm kind of surprised to see him still have that much damage in the end.
All right,
It's also just all-in damage build, man. Fearlessly pure purple Pocket, just thinking, I cannot be caught this game. And he was right. Only one death. I think it was like a laning phase death, too.
He learned that from your from the game night. Except it was the wrong hero going full purple.
Dude, the legendary game night. It was a lot of fun. You guys got to get involved in the next one. Just have to be a Patreon support to do so, or support us with your Twitch subs as well. I think we did end up pulling some Twitch subs in the end. But with that said, we got what we wanted here. We got the third map between these two teams for this money match here. Once again, the Buff Enjoyers Abrahams face off. We'll have to see if Buff Enjoyers can bring it back in the third map after the break. Welcome back. It's time to clock in on the night shift here for the Deadlock EU finals, and it is the final map of the finals. Will Abrahams be able to get to 4-4 in terms of overall record against Buff Enjoyers, or Buff Enjoyers take the lead decisively here today? So we've got a lot to talk about. I'm here with Jake and Jason, of course. And guys, we already sorted out like what's supposed to happen here. We're supposed to see Kelvin get banned, we're supposed to get GT get banned, and then what?
I think I've seen enough from this series, man. It just look like if you give up the Kelvin to the first pick team, you're obliged to block pick the Shiv, and I think your draft kind of goes down the tubes from there. I mean, not that Shiv is bad. Even this game without the Kelvin, Shiv was okay, but I just feel like your draft gets too awkward. I think being forced to block pick on your first two just sucks. And Kelvin still looks great without Shiv. Like, it's still good, still powerful. Even with the doorman dealing with the urns, like, still looks good.
I mean, the thing is, Buff Enjoyers should have first pick, so they can choose to not ban Kelvin and force Abrahams to ban Kelvin, which means they can buff something else like GT
Abrahams
here.
are the team with the decision here, I think. I think this is going to be a straightforward GT first ban from Buff Enjoyers, because it's one that I think ABL really wants to play and is great for Abrahams to like tempo the game out, which, and not to mention the laning phase threat from GT is just monstrous with a player as good as ABL piloting. And I think this is the moment for Abrahams. Last time in the same spot, they banned Pocket, and I think that ban didn't make much sense to me in the moment, because I think ABL might want to grab the like I don't think Pocket's going that early. I feel you could give it to ABL pretty quick. And I think banning Kelvin makes a much more challenging first pick. Maybe Buff Enjoyers will just take the IV if you ban Kelvin, but I think at the very least, it does stabilize the game somewhat.
Good luck to you and your
By the way, Jake, I like how you're saying piloting as if we're like in Mech Warrior or like Gundam or something like that. That's what it makes me think of.
That's basically what all video games are, man.
True.
Kelvin is my Gundam. I'm just like I'm like the Ratatouille mouse in Kelvin's hair. That's
Solomon, you know what to do. Load 2, you know what to do. Help me out here. Let's get I'm prepared for the next segment. So they banned Mina last time.
Yeah.
And we let Mina get through this time. So Buff Enjoyers is going to commit to that instead of
like, this is good, honest Deadlock. No Kelvin cheesing urns. No GT popping you from a third HP from across the freaking map with no counter. This is some good, honest Deadlock here. And that's how it should be, deciding the money match here in EU.
Helping people's what I do.
okay. Gives over Ivy. I kind of want to see Pocket being picked too, right away.
Still so normal right
I like
now.
that.
It's great.
I liked it. It's a little spicy to go with the Pocket. Or I do think Pocket against Mina, though, could be a scary matchup. That could be a little bit problematic, because I think if you ever get silenced on Pocket, you could find yourself in some real trouble. Like, and you, even especially the way Mina silences you, like debuff remover. You know, I mean, that being said, to even initiate on Pocket, to even catch Pocket with the Mina, also a really challenging proposition. So I don't think this is going to be, for a player as good as ABL, much of a problem. I just think in theory, you have any opener plus Mina follow-up, man, and Pocket could be in real trouble. And especially the lane. I think now that I think about it, Mina should be pretty monstrous in the lane against Pocket. Infernus here? That's crazy to me. I mean, this is such an early Infernus pick.
It's got to be the counter to Ivy, I'm assuming. Why, I don't know. But we've seen it.
It doesn't seem like an Ivy guy. She's bad against Ivy to me.
I mean, I'm confused as well, but
I'm curious, again, I want to see the build.
Does Capacitor purge the Ivy stone form? It must, right?
I
think it might.
I don't know. Chat.
Well, because when you're in the air,
in the chat.
But I wonder, is it stone form considered like cube where it could be dispelled? Actually, that's some meets the scientists in the chat to get on that one. Because the fact that Infernus right now, I think the current meta build is going relatively early capacitor, Tesla Bolt's capacitor. Maybe that makes Ivy more killable, or can Pocket be like purged out of the briefcase, or maybe you can't hit the Pocket because he's in the briefcase? I don't know how that works.
I mean, I think Infernus is like, I think the gun like oriented builds of Infernus are like pretty good. I don't know. I feel like it can come online pretty fast as well. Like if you do the catalyst builds, I don't know how that holds up in pro level play. That's why I like want to see if there is just a newer build that's being prioritized here. Because previously, obviously, we always had the flame dash builds for Infernus because it enables him to farm and become like that mega carry and clean up all the neutrals. But maybe there's a different approach. I'm not sure.
I think the challenge with the flame dash is it just comes online a little bit late, unless you're maxing it before the passive. And Infernus passive is so broken, right? It feels like that one of the characters in the game where you really want to max all in on the passive, get it online as fast as humanly possible. That upgraded burn DPS is not only a game changer in your farm, it's a game changer in your ability to deal damage in the early fights. And so I think Flame Dash is powerful. It just comes online late. And Abrahams they're gonna take the Shiv just of their own volition. It doesn't feel as bad to be taking it at this point, I think, later into the draft. And I actually think Shiv is pretty nice, not only in finishing off Abrams, but also Infernus, who these two heroes are not the most survivable in general, right? They want to get in and trade, but they tend to get low, and it tends to be a bit of a risk for them to take. And the 7, whoa, okay. Is this what the hell is this? Is this this support 7?
It could be,
or is it just Zergy 7 and but wait, but who's playing Mina? Oh, well, I don't know what to think about this, man. I never in a million years would have called the 7 pick here. I'm lost.
Echo Shard.
Maybe we're not doing the
Echo Shard is done.
Echo Shard, Arcane Surge, Mystic Expansion. Okay,
we got trolled. Thank God. This makes way more sense. But the Haze again, man, more commitment on this Haze. I think Haze must really be working in scrims, right? For a lot of teams to be picking it. And I feel like the vision has been there. It hasn't worked today, right? It's only lost today.
I think it's only lost. I don't think we're going to see Haze in NA. I've got a feeling.
Yeah, this is an EU special for sure.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we've seen buff enjoyers not go for a pick hero or initiator hero like a Bebop, a Paradox, or a Haze? They didn't play it last game.
No, they didn't. Yeah, I mean,
I in game 1 because they're all picked by Abrahams.
I think Haze is like a proxy for one of those heroes, actually. Like the way like Obakim was playing Haze, I think it is a proxy. Lash is good, but however, Haze is good against Lash, theoretically. Very, very theoretically.
Do they consider Holiday?
I think Holiday.
Really?
Honestly, or Mo not going to surprise it.
I was gonna say Calico, but I was like, why would they go Calico? But they went Calico.
And I will say for Abrahams, not having Billy or Abrams, problematic, right? We've seen those two heroes. I really don't think there's a replacement for them in terms of the ability to walk in and then provide lockdown. There's like Shiv and Yamato walk in and deal a ton of damage and push the enemy away because you have threat, but they don't catch and like pull people back out of their formation into your team. And I think that value that Abrams brings is actually so potent, especially with Haze on the setup. We saw Hoot like in the first match got such a ridiculous like duration extender plus a ton of AoE stuff, and his ultimate was like the whole freaking map when he's popping that ultimate. So it could be pretty sick in these late games, like hitting a big stun on your Shivs, on your Bebops. And I mean, for a long time, Infernus was considered the Shiv counter, right? It's that's going way deep back into the day, but that consistent dot ticking over time is just potent against Shiv the way his passive works.
Who's on who? I don't know who's on who for buff enjoyers, man.
All right, I'll help you. It's Hoot is going to be the Infernus. Zergy's going to be the Mina. Lysic's going to be the Abrams.
Demob Doorman?
Yeah, maybe Haze. A Demob Doorman. Maybe a Demob Doorman, Obakim Haze, and Sharik Calico?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that checks out.
This sort of checks out to me. Calico is weird because I don't know who's playing Calico these days. I think for sure we have seen Sharik play it in the past. Could be even like a Demob Calico and a Sharik on something like a Doorman. It's tough. I mean, we don't really. I don't think we have a clear handle on who's like hero pools change, right? Especially with heroes like Doorman making appearance in the meta. I bet there's a lot of pros who are playing a bit of Doorman in the pubs and getting a bit comfortable and creating that as another option for them to pull out.
When are we getting McGinnis back into the mix here? That's my question.
I miss McGinnis, all right? I miss McGinnis. I'm going to come out and say it. It's been too long. Buff McGinnis. McGinnis truthers rise up. Dynamo got played. Dynamo.
If Dynamo can make it, even though it was a loss, McGinnis can make it.
Dude, too many people have been hurt by McGinnis in pubs, all right?
That's true. McGinnis, when full turret build in pubs, is so toxic.
Obikim's on Doorman. So we're not going to see Obikim on Haze.
Whoa, okay. Wait, who's the Haze?
I bet he's loving that.
Is it Demob on Haze?
I wouldn't mind a Demob Haze.
It is. Okay. This is gonna be interesting. I wonder if Demov's gonna build differently though.
I just want to see Hayes have a decent start to the game. You know, I think honestly that's really the weakness right now at this level of play. It feels like Hayes never has a good lane. Like we haven't seen it to my knowledge, right? There's been way too much lane pressure coming in against her, and you know, I think Hayes she really wants to be on a lead in the early game, right? Which is just, it feels too much to ask for. These pros are so good at managing stacks, at not allowing Hayes to build those up and or to get lane prio. And especially against Bebop, man, like you get hooked in, you're just dead. You just
Bebop shit. You can't really afford to get aggressive in this lane to get those stacks. You're kind of on the back foot off the get-go. I feel like in this lane in particular against these two heroes. Trying to get the stacks though to make it work. Headshot booster already picked up. But also Obikim on the doorman. I wonder if he's gonna play it. I'm curious because like Obikim for me is also one of the like really mechanically skilled players for buff enjoyers. I mean, he originally showed us like Vindicta. He showed us Hayes way back as when. He can definitely play a wide range of heroes, though we don't really get to see it too often.
I see Shiv.
Yeah, it's definitely seems like it'd be in the wheelhouse. I also want to see how Hoot does on the Infernus. I think there's a lot riding on him this game. The first game we saw him, he had a big game, but he also started off very hot. Had a lot of momentum coming out of the early game. I think they've clocked in. I think Saint has leveled bomb into uppercut here. So I think he may not have hook, actually.
Maybe we can take a look at some of these other lanes, though, and start to discuss them, because we also have Shark picking up the Calico, paired with Hoot on the Infernus. Hoot over in the right-hand side, up against the Paradox and the Ivy as well together. And on the left-hand side, we have Mina Abrams up against Lash and Pocket. I mean, that's going to be an annoying lane if they both go Majestic Leap early. Obviously, probably going to see ABL do so, though he gets picked off. And the QSR is ready for Saf.
I mean, this is what I was talking about, though. Mina into Pocket strikes me as a really nice lane matchup because, honestly, like, Pocket, you have, like, negative spirit resist. You're so vulnerable to Mina's poke in the early game. And rushing Majestic Leap, Mina's a very aggressive early laner, right? Who wants to get kills, who wants to put pressure on. And if you're hard rushing Majestic Leap, you have, like, no defensive utility at all. It's going to be very challenging to sustain. This damage on Mina, though, is good. It's going to really slow her down. Like, you know, if you a little bit slow with those bats, man, the Sanguine Retreat, you could easily find yourself popped by Pocket and Lash. The burst can definitely go back the other way against somebody as squishy as Mina.
I said, is Listic no that we saw Zergy go away? He's pretty much defending by himself.
He's holding his own, man. I mean, Pocket and Lash are like not really ready for that smoke against Abrams. And now full HP wave is going to crash. I think if there's going to be a wave, we'll see a little action, and it's going to be the side lanes.
I mean, speaking of full HP, you saw Zergy there. Gets back to full HP as well with the rake onto the minions. Immediately pushes in that damage onto Saf. It is chunky. As a parry comes through to Listic, they're going for the dive, and Listic gets the kill onto Saf. Sanguine Retreat used to just escape away from Pocket, down to 200 health here for Zergy. And I think Buffenjoy's going to be happy with that kill to back off.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Pocket does have immense burst threat. Although Listic probably not going to be putting any respect on that. And I mean, like one more wave, two more waves for Majestic Leap, and then that should kind of turn around this lane right now. Although at the same time, right, if you're Majestic Leaping in, that should be very telegraphed. So for someone like Mina with Sanguine Retreat, maybe you're not too worried about that. I feel like that's, for most laners, Pocket just Majestic Leaps on you. It's like, what do? You're going to take a ton of damage.
Now, speaking of a ton of damage, Obikim's been forced back to base in the mid lane. Even D-Mob is going to be left to defend alone as he just backs off for a little bit of box running while the wave crashes in to the tower. Chanter's Emblem, rest of shot, close quarters here for Listic. Really looking to push the pain as we're going to see. Oh my god, he gets ground striked out of it, trying to get over to the buff. It's spawning up.
He got there first, though. Mina's here to back up. Lash doesn't want any of that smoke. The Mina ultimate, though, not going to find any connection. Lash takes a lot of damage, has to bounce towards the mid, but should be okay. Hook, a little bit deep. Can he get the door out? Oh, it's taking a lot of damage on the way out, but does get back. Saf wasn't so lucky, though. Did get chased down there on the Lash. Slightly development for Buffenjoyers, but not much to write home about just yet.
A Guardian Ward coming in for Obikim. We're definitely seeing a difference in item build so far. Who definitely went more damage heavy. As the Affliction comes in on top of Listic.
All right, Listic, go back to base. Retreat. Although, I mean, Abrams is maybe he's one of the better heroes at tanking through this phase of the game. I still think he's going to need to take a base trip here, though. So scary for him to stay in lane against Pocket and Lash, who can both dive in and get those finishes really easily.
Yeah, this is saying retreat can be used to get away from the Death Slam.
Yeah, those backoffs in the mid lane started to punish them, right? Eventually, it was just too much to bear. Bovendor Sharik is literal 1 HP somewhere. So he's able to get out and take a reset. And side lanes are still doing good, right? For as bad as the mid lane went, the fact that the side lanes are this stable is a great start. And Saint is rotated in, though, taking that roam off the opener. But now he's scouted. Surprise factor gone. Tower dropping, though. I mean, you might know he's there, but are you really going to be able to hold this? Meanwhile, you roam in. Now they Torman the Shiv ult out, and they just pump huge DPS onto the tower. But they don't want that smoke. As soon as the other comes out of the Baroness Hotel, they're gone.
Get some free damage onto the Guardian, though, down about half health. I think Listy was caught on the left-hand side looking to escape. And no Death Slam going off just yet here for Sap, who could easily look for the engage, but realistically, you need to force out that single-one retreat on a Zergy if you want to commit onto a kill, and that's who that knocks Nostra up in just a few seconds. But he's just so low in health, and he needs some minions to heal from. There's going to be a tier 2 camp he can potentially take here and heal up from, and you can see right there, back up to 250 HP, healing from 230 from Rake. That is ridiculous.
Oh, he didn't quite make it out of his door. He closed it a second early, was scared of the ship following him through, but looks like they've fallen a little, just fallen back. Didn't have the damage to clean that one up in the end. Doorman definitely having a bit of a struggle bus early game. I don't think this is a hero that really needs to be farmed, though. But you don't want to give up kills, and Veilwalker Bebop, scary. A little bit of a wild hook there. You gotta miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Well, the last couple hooks we've seen out of Saint, he's missed 100% of the shots he did take.
So it's no worse. It's like the same.
Exactly. So you might as well throw him out there. Speaking of throwing it out, we're seeing Obi can rotate towards the left-hand side to maybe go for a 3-man push on towards this Guardian. I'm not sure if Saf and ABL know this is coming, though they should be able to suss out that Obi Kim is here. But I guess it's for the Sinners. Yeah, you can see immediately heads towards the enemy Sinners here to deny them away, and you can immediately pocket, played by ABL, and Saf head over here. And it was a trade last time we saw this happen off the get-go. And he got Obi Kim to retreat. That was a smart play, though, just to deny those Sinners. But a good read out of Abrahams.
Paradox now looking to get aggressive. Nice swap. Does catch Sharik there on the retreat. Looks like that reactive barrier that was keeping him pretty healthy. And ooh, you are popping that laser, but do you want to stay around into this? Bebop super low HP. They're trying to fly him out, but couldn't quite get that connection. Looks like Jamside just going to be not abandoning ship. Does find the 1 kill. Lash ult is good. Finds a connection, but the damage is too much here. And across the map, Buffinger is getting a 1-for-3 trade. Some Sinners going to go their way as well. Mina going to be able to clean up a quick Guardian. A lot of low HP players, but Buffinger is going to be able to get a lot of HP resets. So a lot of people should have their zipline boost here and get that efficient reset if they want it.
Yeah, like you said, 3-for-1 and 1-for-1 in Guardians. No flex slot picked up yet, though, for Buffinger's with that mid Guardian, right lane Guardian still able to be taken, but maybe a skirmish on the right-hand side to see the Sinner sacrifice being stolen away by Jamside, who does just dash away to safety, though Hoot looking like he wants to go for the chase, but he's going to have to let this one go for now and push this lane up. My question for Abrahams here is, how do you kind of get back this 4,000 to 5,000 soul difference that you have at the moment? Especially with Hoot yet again getting farmed up, but Zerg in the meantime, he's on 10,000 souls.
Oh my god, he took a lot of damage from that one, though. All in, full risk. Movement is going to be good. Did a lot of damage, and looks like he got away with that one. But they don't have a Guardian in this lane, right? So the zip is not going to be fair for them. Oh, does get zip knocked. Do they have the follow-up, though? Ivy diving in, needs to finish off this Infernus. Ooh, a little bit of damage, has to reload. They know how low Hoot is, though. He's on the chase down. Not going to be easy to hold. Abrams, that pin. It's actually really nice. It slows things down. That gets Hoot out of trouble. So despite not getting a kill, I mean, you're going to be happy about that if you're Hoot, able to take that reset.
Very close there.
Veilwalker on Haze. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
We've had this happen a couple weeks ago, too. I don't remember who it was. I think it was probably Obi Kim that did it. Or maybe it was Tass when he played Haze before. But yeah, if you're not stealthy enough with your smoke bomb, you have another one with Veilwalker.
Ooh, nice kill. Great finish off on a jam side. And all right, I mean, Veilwalker, to be fair, it adds a lot of consistency. Smoke bomb is quite a long cooldown. Oh, hook misses, and that's going to be free earn drop for Obakim. He's going to be happy to grab that one. The Soli is starting to expand, coming into that 10K level for the Buff Enjoyers, as they're thinking about maybe sieging down that side Guardian. With Saint rather here defending it, it's going to be a scary proposition, right? To siege into the Bebop, especially with Lash behind. A lot of punishing teamfight execution that could come out. And Buff Enjoyers, once again, I mean, they're relatively pick focused with this draft. I don't think you want to force team fights when you don't have to.
Kind of crazy to see that they do have such a lead, considering they're one Guardian behind. The ABL, I mean, he's been all on these reads. He denied the Cinder Sacrifice take out of Obikin, denying the box take at the 10-minute-ish mark for Shark. He's definitely reading into the way Buff Enjoyers are playing quite well, but it's not going to make up for the 8,000 souls, 9,000 souls they're currently down.
A lot of skills popped in the mid lane, trying to chase down Calico, and here's the punish. Lash gets bursted down. Baroness Hotel does drop onto one. Does Abrams commit in, or is it going to looks like a retreat now? Buff Enjoyers happy to just get out of this one. But Abraham's brought a lot of numbers to this trade. 1-for-1 being traded here in the side lanes. Jam side trying to defend against a sieging Hoot, who's pretty confidently pressing in, getting a lot of Walker damage down. I mean, that Walker on the left side might be actually dying. Hoot putting that pressure on, even dives under the Walker. Uninterested in shooting that Ivy. Ivy's trying to body block to do what he can, but yeah, Hoot's getting this one, man.
Oh, he'll pay the price for it. But he still gets himself a huge chunk of souls for solo taking this Walker. I have to say, eventually he'll go down, right?
Man, oh, he's doing a lot of damage, man. If he had like a couple more bullets there, he could light some people up. And I mean, that HP damage he does and the amount of time it takes to get the cleanup is going to mean that they do get the secure on the side Guardian. Mina not really in any trouble here. Has that single retreat, even the life buff at the same time. So she's going to be perfectly healthy. Well, not perfectly, but pretty comfortable.
I mean, the fact that like Hoot draws 3 players to the left-hand lane, gets the Walker, dies, but they also get a Guardian on the right lane for that. Like that's really well done and a good macro play, heads-up play out of Buff Enjoyers. Now sitting on the 2 flex slots unlocked. Look like he turned around.
A lot of stacks.
Abraham's get one.
That's a big catch by Demov there. And he's gone a build with a lot more damage in it. An early Surge of Power. ABL now in trouble. This is a puck. Oh my god, the juke is huge. But not enough.
Trying to get the Majestic leap up. He was like
Backstabber.
0.8 seconds away.
Just so good. Backstabber, just so broken against Pocket, right? Like if you're able to, I don't know if I'd say broken, but really difficult for him to ever escape long enough, right? With that wall hack plus damage over time preventing you. And Infernos has gone a very mobile defensive build here. He's got a Heal Bane, he's got the Reactive Barrier as well as a Warp Stone. So really wanting to fight early is Hoot, and he's still quite farmed, right? So I think this is a nice Infernos build showing that green Infernos is legit. The meta is for real. Bebop though, caught, burned, he's super low. Is maybe gonna tick out here. It's gonna be super close, especially with Hayes on the chase down. Yeah, Sharik ends up getting that finish.
No Majestic Leap, no green Infernus build. You gotta see that one.
No Majestic Leap? What a noob. I can't believe it.
Yeah, right? 100% win rate in our game night. But as we were talking about Demov though, and you talked about his item build, Surge of Power picked up for him too. I was kind of questioning what build would he go for in this game. And I think we're kind of getting our answer, like more damage heavy. He's not playing the utility Haze, I guess we can call it, with like the slowing hex, silence wave.
I mean, the thing is, I think he'll still go silence wave at some point in this game. I think he's just not rushing it. And this is allowing, I mean, like right now, think about the team you have, right? You have Abrams, you have Doorman. Maybe that's enough walk down to just survive and come in with big damage, right? And the sleep dagger is enough setup for somebody like Abrams. And then what is the silence really going to do? Maybe you'd rather just burst them down in the Abrams stun or under Mina's silence already deployed.
Let's take out Bebop.
Oh, that's gonna be a catch. It looks like on a Saint. And we see the damage
the
that
damage
Demov
is
can
big.
do.
There's
Paired
the
him with
silence.
Zergy. Oh, no chance to escape that one.
Obakim died for that one though.
Take out Lash.
An Affliction wasn't used, neither was the Lash ulti. But Lash under trouble. I don't think he's gonna be able to get an ulti off. Oh, the sleep. I think it did just miss. Surely you're out of this one. And did Ivy just snatch the Lash out of the air with the ulti? Okay, extra safety though, Sap. Maybe would have been chased down. Oh, movement buff Mina. Surely not.
Giving it to Demov so you can just get around the map as quick as possible here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think probably similar value for both those characters. Just movement buff, just letting it participate a little bit more actively. Maybe Zergy, in the end, I mean, still wants to farm up. And by the way, Listic, we talked about him really falling behind the game last time. Not the case this game. Very, very strong farm. Like, to be nearly the top farmer on the team is an amazing spot to be. That being said, you're about to drop that bag. Thanks for farming that one for us, boys. Although, hold on. The
Guardian
barrier
Ward came in.
The Divine Word, but still, Jamside's in on the follow-up. This could turn into a bigger team fight, though. That's a lot of spells cast from Abraham's. Buff and Jarvis might want to get something out of this. Might want to try and trade things back. You don't have the ulti here on Jamside, but I think Zergy is going to have to dip out of that one. Cannot stay the course, chasing that deep in enemy territory.
Damn, we get to our well, technically not our first
It's a
earn
favored
turn-in.
earn. Wow, it's
Yeah.
a favored earn. That's kind of lucky, honestly, for Abraham's. But then again, it speaks. I mean, they're 13K behind. For 16 minutes, that's not an ideal spot. Oh my God, are you going to get this knockoff? Oh, it's so close. That's
pretty crucial
That could have
take
gotten
here.
weird. That could have gotten weird for sure for Taz.
I think the upside with the way the waves were shoved, I think who's going to fall from this one, there was no real counterplay for Buff Enjoyers to punish them for taking that earn and turning it in. They didn't get any pressure on the right-hand lane. They didn't go for mid-boss, which we've seen them do definitely in the past. It's a good read out of Abraham's. And this is like small little things like this, which isn't even that small, right? Getting the earn, that's a pretty big thing, but also a kill off the back of that. It's slowly getting this lead back in control. It's only about 5 to 6K at the moment. And they're looking for the double Sinners take yet again here on this right-hand side.
Yeah, it's a nice little turn of events here for Abraham's. Getting the Sinners. It's a nice mid-objective here. Still Walker advantage for Buff Enjoyers and a moderate soul lead. But this is 5 Abraham's players all grouped up on the right side. I mean, that's an expensive investment, right? To bring so many players to the same place. So Shiv is going to TP across the map, try and play things a little bit more efficiently. I think Infernus is going to hear that. They both are aware of each other, though. Maybe just try and come in and snatch some of these last hits.
Who got that one?
I think, yeah, relatively even trade on the CS, but yeah, Shiv's happy to get any of those.
I'm trying to think where the next bit of play is going to happen. And I think it's going to be, it has to be around the 20-minute mark, right? It has to be around an earn contest or an earn turn-in. I don't actively see Buff Enjoyers pushing into a lash on the enemy side. You could easily death slam you into the entire team, even though you do have, I mean, the sleep dagger to potentially cancel it out if you can hit it.
I definitely give the edge in terms of finding pickoffs around this mid lane, though, to the Abraham's team, right? They've got Lash to find a big catch, or just Paradox or Bebop finding an individual. Hayes getting caught is a great one, but the follow-up isn't there. It's like the control just enough for Buff Enjoyers to play their way out of that. Demov has the mobility to slip back. It's another nice thing about the Surge of Power, right, on the dagger. Not only gives you a big damage amp if you're looking for kills, but also gives you that movement speed to escape if you're using the sleep defensively.
Warpstone being used to get away. You can see that, I mean, Abraham's have started to group up towards this middle lane to look for something. Again, the Veil's giving a lot of escapability.
A little bit too speculative. You got to take those chances for Saint. I mean, there's no real reason not to. Those low hook cooldowns. Max hook, pretty powerful this early in the game. A lot of chances to be had. Doorman ult on Shiv, looked mostly defensive. But oh, the catch is good. Hold on. Abrams slips in. Abrams pretty tanky. Does get hooked, but this is the one you kind of want to be tanking that hook. Shiv goes down and you get a big melee off. Bebop missed that parry. Wasn't expecting Listic to turn around even with the affliction on him. Seems like you will be able to get that finish on Abrams, surely? He's ulting, he's trying to slip away. He has the affliction on him. No way. If Abrams plays his way out of this, that's huge. And Buff Enjoyers get one for nothing. Still some low players, though. A lot of spells cast and a wave crashing on the left side Guardian. So the waves are starting to look a little bit scary for Abrams. I don't know if they can stick around this much longer in the mid lane.
It's like Demo comes in big with a sleep dagger to turn the attention of Abraham's towards him. So who can just dance away from this one. I think that was such great coordination as well to Buff Enjoyers, you saw with the Baroness Hotel being used out of Obikim straight into a shoulder charge, straight into a luggage cart, into a wall. They really CC chain together the best they possibly could. It's looking like an arena battle in World of Warcraft, I swear. The amount of CC being pulled off.
This buff on the left side, certainly going to be a flashpoint, so it would seem. And Abrams have a ton of players here. 5 members looking to secure that buff. No one, by the way, securing that right side buff. Swap miss, just barely warpstoned away by this Abrams.
I mean, Abrams are heavily leaning towards picking it up, but Buff Enjoyers do have the players on the right-hand side to contest it. And you even see Demov there trying to actually go for the catch with anyone trying to pick up the casting and the silence. There's no way you're escaping that. You can't stone form. The casting given over to Zergy here. This might look like a mid boss actually, because now the urn is being ran across the map.
That's your heavy core, right? Jamside's your most farmed hero. Wonder if this. Oh, it's gonna be real. They're gonna commit with the ulti. Good value to the Haze ulti.
Well, he's got a massive blade dance though, or bullet dance. Like he's got to have something, some range modifier on that.
Maybe Obakim though getting caught elsewhere, and this mid boss is getting sketchy. That's a pretty big affliction. Speaking of AOE, but hold on, the silence is good onto Pocket. He's caught, bursted. Did get that affliction down onto a lot of players. It's turning into a fight now. Neither team wants to continue to commit in on that mid boss, but it's so incredibly low. No one wants to back down either. Zergy trying to just come in. They're committing for the damage finish off. Now Rejuve dropping. A lot of ultimates on the table. Buffinger is very, very low. He needs a big ultimate, needs to secure this mid boss. The Rejuve connection 3 all go to Buffinjoyers. That's massive. And Abraham's struggling to get the kills. They find one Rejuve down. Sharik going to be coming back in at full HP. But Hoot playing his way out of this one is killed together. And Infernus and D-Mob able to live through this one, and it would look like a very even game has been blown wide open by Buffingers. I can't believe they got all 3 of those Rejuves in the contested take.
I think Abrahams were committing for the Death Slam to actually buy the opportunity to go for the steal and the Rejuve. But I think Buffingers just said, you know what, screw it. We're just going to full send the 3 punches directly into it, take it before they even have a chance to throw us away from it. And it works out well. I mean, the Cultist Sacrifice giving that concussive combustion out of such massive range. I'm not sure what it was on D-Mob's side that gave him the extra AoE range there, but that's a big turning point now as we're approaching 15+ soul difference with the urn being turned on top of us. We're over 20,000 souls in difference, and that right lane walker is looking like it might be taken here as a wave is starting to push.
Yeah, I think Buffingers are going to play this one slow. I think they still want to look for pickoffs on the map. However, maybe the last ult down is sort of enough of a go sign for you to try to siege here. At the same time, I think like at this level of play, hard sieging into a walker that is defended actively by more than one player is kind of crazy, kind of a death sentence. Pocket and Mina trading a little bit here on the side lane, but it seems like Mina is going to be out of that one. No one wants to force the engagement. Buffingers, they need it by. I mean, there's a lot of people close to these like next key thresholds. They've got a little bit of time left on the Rejuve, so going to work with all that they have.
Ethereal Shift picked up now. For Zergy, Capacitor for Hoot, as you're talking about big items coming through.
Yeah, it could be potent. And ABL just got caught with the silence wave there and just evaporated, right? And for all the survivability that Pocket has, that is a pretty scary item because building debuff remover on Pocket doesn't feel good. You just want to dodge and not get hit by the debuffs in the first place. And it's tempting to think you're just going to be able to outplay every single skill, but there's so many threats. There's a lot of silence waves. There's D-Mob with the sleep, right? That gives you a free setup. Wouldn't mind seeing a debuff remover in this game, considering just the number of debuffs available.
Because just to keep in mind is that by picking up debuff remover, you're also like either force them to try to use it on you or not. And if they do use it on you, it's like, hey, you know what? I have the ability to get out of it completely, which means that your teammates aren't being silenced. So I don't know. It can kind of be like a win-win if you want to go for that route. But you can see the immediate charge back. The barrier going to save D-Mob, it looks like, but I'm not so sure for Obikim.
Yeah, but they do have this Rejuve online. D-Mob, though, he's going to be too low to come back into this. And this is actually going to turn into a pretty nice fight for Abrahams. Like, in the end, it's a 1-for-1, plus you took away a Rejuve, which I think is just Buffinger is maybe biting off a little bit more than they could chew. They thought, okay, this is an opportunity to kill Jamside, and it was. But they couldn't both escape out of the door. I think that was, central to the play. Even Obikim almost went down there. He was afflicted and hit with a Shiv dagger, so he nearly bled out from that. Mina, though, becoming a presence now. And the max cooldown is going to be a big item to find here. Like, this hero is going to be so hard to lock down.
Oh.
E-shift. He has debuff remover, and then, like, the next thing in retreat, he has debuff remover for this one. Do they have more catch for this? This is a true test of the potency. Look, another single retreat already. He's ripping the ultimate. Lash already did find the connection, though, and now running low, running out of skills. Oh, never mind.
Another single shift.
Buffinger is bringing in more players. There's a spirit buff as well to be claimed around this fight. They do find that kill, but it's just Zergy's last Rejuve, and you'd love to get this team fight off for Buffingers. You'd love to be able to turn this one into a big win, one that opens up maybe a walker for your later take, and now Shiv doesn't nearly have the survivability to stand toe-to-toe. Listic living a little bit longer. The cart pulls Paradox completely out of the action, unable to participate really in the fight any longer. Still, as the dust settles, though, it's only 2 kills against Abrahams. Might be enough to take a mid walker, but oh no, but that's the most valuable kill of all. Jamside just caught too deep in, couldn't back out of the engage. And that
was
clears the way for
ridiculous.
mid walker. Oh, and another kill. Oh, that Dorman, this Paradox is done. Wait, hold on. He warp zoned out. He dodged the cart. Never mind. All right, the play from Tez.
Yeah, but the play from Zergy, man. So he gets off 2 thorough shifts and 2 single
baiting
retreats.
so
He
hard.
baits in the paradoxical swap and the death slam, and he gets away. I mean, yes, it cost him the rejuve crystal, but he still escapes from that one, forcing out so many big ultimates and such a big commitment for him that his team is able to pick up quite a few kills off the backlet. That was just a masterclass of what Mina can do if you have the right items. And
Yeah, for real. Oh, wait, hook deep. Veilwalker from the Bebop went a little bit undetected. Does he get the stun off? Does find that connection. Bebop is going to be in real trouble, starting to cook, starting to melt down here. Buffenjar is continuing to push this tempo, diving in as well. The burn is enough, and Lash doesn't have the ultimate to turn around this team fight, so Buffenjoyers starting to really get out of control in this game. Pocket, ABL, risks everything, dives in, but gets caught and burned. You have an Affliction down. D-Mob rips the ultimate. Seems like he's dancing alone, though. Not much value. Oh, no, it does find Together off that one. And Hoot's just going to happily clean up these objectives. And despite Buffenjoyers being so low on so many players, with only 2 alive for Abrahams, I'm not sure you can contest.
No, you have to get this one up. Doesn't matter how good your death slam is. As D-Mob, I think he got hyperline there. It'll have Hoot to protect him, and they will all escape. So Buffenjoyers going from about a 20-25k lead almost to a 50,000 soul lead at this point in the game as they go back to farm some waves and their own jungle. It's going to be pretty much at 50k at this point.
Mid boss in 1 minute is really problematic, right? When mid boss comes online, you've got some very powerful tools to secure, but not only that, I mean, think about how fast Buffenjoyers could drop the mid boss with Zergy's ultimate, 40k souls, D-Mob as well, could
And
even
Spirit
drop
Burn.
the bullet dance. It like the mid boss is going to die in like under 2 seconds. So for Abrahams, it's like if you even show more than 2 players on the side lanes, that alone could be enough to lose the mid boss. I genuinely think Buffenjoyers have the DPS to just pop it before you could even get the response off as Abrahams.
Well, then for them, it's about shoving out these lanes so you can kind of get information where Abrahams is going to be and force them to go clean up the lanes. 17 seconds left.
They're going to regret getting close to me.
Ready to use.
And this build, I think, suits Zergy so well, right? For him to be able to farm, it feels like anywhere he wants on the map, to take big risks and just outlast it. Oh, they're going to instantly pop the mid boss. They're setting up for it. This is a little risky, though. I think Abrahams are going to be ready for this contest. He's going to say it. Okay, instant pop the ult. Look at this. Mid boss roars, and the rejuve's dropping. Okay, do you get there in time? You have no opportunity to respond. Abrahams, you got to go right in for this. Scourge as well in. Do they have any connections? The Infernus ultimate is good. They warp zone in, but still all 4 rejuves go to the Buffenjoyers. And that might be enough to seal the deal here, Jason. There's still players alive for Abrahams. They're still fighting this one out. The Lash ult is good, but Zergy just fearless now, absolutely diving in, standing still, no respect for the surviving members of Abrahams. And with so many players on the deck, a 50k soul lead and 4 rejuves, surely this is another championship for the Buffenjoyers.
Yeah, I mean, look how low they are, too. The Affliction hits so many targets, but it's not going to matter if your team just completely dissipates in the midst of that fight, as GGs are already being called out as well. I mean,
They know it
Buffenjoyers,
too.
in the first time in a long time, able to pull off 2 wins in a row. It's been a long time since, what, DNS or DLNS number 2, we saw a team win back-to-back. But finally, Buffenjoyers have been able to do it here, and they did it in quite a great fashion. I mean, I think the first game was a little bit questionable when it came to the drafting phase out of Abrahams, but Buffenjoyers still came back after losing the second match.
Yeah, Buffenjoyers just gonna wrap things up for us with a quick base siege, and I think this is actually not an early GG call. I genuinely don't think you get a real fight here, especially into the 4 rejuves. Like, even if these players DC'd are you know, respawn and fighting, pace is gonna drop in a matter of seconds, especially with Mina able to ult to clean it up. But Abrams, you know, they fought hard here. They gave everything, but look at that Mina ult siege the patron. No way.
What
Okay.
patron?
Yeah, you still had like 3 players on respawn for Abrahams, despite getting the respawn reduced by the patron drop.
And there we have it. Isn't that 5-3 night shifts Buffenjoyers over Abraham? So they're starting to create a gap, guys. Buffenjoyers, they're too quick with it.
Yeah, too quick, too good. I mean, they got, again, some comfort here as they threw us a little bit wild and crazy, seeing Infernus being picked in the 2 victories they had up against Abrahams. But hell, who made it work? We saw Obikim even flex over to Doorman. We saw D-Malv on Hayes. kind of saw a little bit of everything on the side of Buff Enjoyers today, and it was great to see. Though Abraham's, I did like how they threw a spanner in the works in that first draft. It just didn't work out for them in the end. Picking the 3 pick heroes like that was kind of unexpected.
Yeah, this game,
unexpected.
This game was like a much more vanilla type of draft, right? We got kind of the expected bans, so there wasn't really any shenanigans, any funny business. You didn't have to do that block shiv pick to kind of put your picks off in like a kind of weird balance right from the get-go. So it's a much more vanilla situation. So what was the major difference here? Because I mean, for me, I always lean towards the macro with Buff Enjoyers. I feel like they just are so good at making those big macro decisions into the mid and late game. Like so to me, that's kind of where I always start with them. But is there something I'm missing with regards to this third map?
You know, I think this. I will say one thing for me that was a little suspect is continuing to pick the Shiv with no Kelvin. I also still feel Abraham's. I mean, clearly it must be working out well for them in scrims to go with this heavier commitment into the pick-off heroes, right? Having Bebop and Paradox, and I think Taz so good at the Paradox, it's almost like a damage carry when he's playing it. But nonetheless, it's pretty heavy emphasis on these picks. And once Buff Enjoyers, I think, had a more of a comfortable setup to play these team fights, then they were kind of struggling. It's also kind of a new style from Buff Enjoyers, right? Where they don't have a single conventional pick-off hero, and even not really prioritizing team fight heroes, also making Infernus look strong. So Buff Enjoyers just continuing to push the limits, really, of what top-tier Deadlock can be. I think Dimov had the most compelling Haze performance. That being said, he's the only one who won, so it's not a high bar. But regardless, still looked really impactful on the Haze throughout this game, running a build that was just more or less all damage, right? It was still a lot of Spirit Burst damage rather than the conventional gun carry style, which I do think this is a little bit more of a reliable build, but not one we've seen at the pro level. And so that was great, I think, for the Haze players in rank. They're going to have to consider that one in their future builds. Jesus, did you just see? What the hell? Did you see that umbrella? He like hit the Bebop from like a whole like line of HP bars. He like one hit him. What the hell was that?
And even looking back at the game, there was like one big turning point was that first rejuve where Buff Enjoyers just quickly got all 3 crystals. I don't know what it was that canceled out the Death Slam out of Saf, but like that fight was a big turning point around the 19-minute mark. As you see, they completely opened up this game in terms of like soul advantage, getting up to 62,000 at the end here. But ABL still putting out some good damage, but just I don't know where it went wrong for him beyond what we've already discussed.
Yeah, it seems like it can be tough with Lash, especially if there's like counter spells out there. It feels like your kind of chips are in one spot, and it's rough if it doesn't go your way. I found that out when you bought a counter spell against me, Jake, when I was playing Lash in a good night, and I didn't get a single lot off, and I was very sad. So another notable thing though here is obviously we're seeing not just Infernus, and it was indeed that Catalyst build that I was talking about where you're not really prioritizing the Flame Dash, but you come online with damage way earlier, just focusing on the Catalyst after the Afterburn. So that's really cool to see, and you don't prioritize the Spirit as much as we would see, or like Toxic Bullets or some of those things, but just also in addition to seeing that, seeing Calico make a return to these lineups was really, really cool as well, because Calico has been missing, and we can see here on the stats 21 assists out of Sharik on the Calico, so just present in basically every fight.
Yeah, the Scourge on Calico late game, you're just so annoying, right? Able to ult in, and I mean, by the time your ult ends, you've done like what 50% of the enemy's HP from Spirit damage. That percent HP is so powerful, and it's good to see Calico make a return. I think we saw it twice today, and it looked great in both games. So maybe Calico a bit of an unsung hero right now. The ability to tank those powerful engages, especially with this pick emphasis that Abrahams are running. It's like you look at a Calico, and you better keep her silenced or stunned for the full kill, which is not easy to do because her ability to play her way out after getting caught is so strong. Or like even if you lash ult the Calico, she's not really going to be worried about that, able to just ult and kind of walk it off. So definitely some tough matchups for the Abrahams heroes of choice. And like you said, as much as ABL did a lot of damage, it just felt like you weren't able to get those stable team fights. This is a game against Buff Enjoyers where like you just couldn't keep them locked down. It was Calico, it was Mina, even Infernus and Dorman. I mean, there's so many heroes who could kind of play their way out of an opening. Like they might get caught, you might start the fight of how you want, and then they're Dorman ulting you and falling back and re-engaging on their terms. And for Buff Enjoyers, I think it's a style we haven't seen as much from them, but one that looks remarkably well practiced for that.
I mean, my question is, when are we going to get a nerf to spirit damage? We had only one gun hero in that entire game, or that entire last match with Jamside on the Ivy, but everyone else was just pure spirit damage being built. Even Abrams was building spirit damage with like Spirit Snatch and a couple of other things in there. It's definitely a spirit meta right now, where previously it was bullet, but I would like to see things a little bit more in line. I want to see more of these like Mouse 1 heroes have the ability to come online early enough to make an impact.
Yeah, I will say I think Infernus, although he does a ton of spirit damage, is built pretty much gun exclusive. So I think right now the meta is like only your hard carry really builds gun. Whereas in my games, all 6 players on our team are hard carries, so we're all building gun.
So true. Well, there can only be one in the end here for our MVP. So let's go to our MVP, and I believe we're going to be awarding it to indeed Zergy on the Mina, who had a really great performance. You know, Mina was a little bit shaky on the initial introduction, but has since become quite the mainstay and has had high value both in NA and in EU. So Zergy's Mina, what did you like about it the most as we see how the build progressed there?
I think, you know, one thing we've seen from Zergy in the past, I'm remembering like in some of his 7 games, getting the ethereal shift, kind of farming a side lane, and then even though you initiate on him, he lives so incredibly long that the team comes in and supports him and turns around the fight in his favor. And I feel like Mina is an even more powerful expression of that playstyle, of his ability to kind of farm as aggressively as he wants, to be the tip of the spear despite being a heavy farmer, and still live long enough for the team fight to come in, for the counter engage to be good. And it makes Buffingers, I think, a lot harder to play against, that he's got this hero so comfortably in his wheelhouse.
I mean, 0 deaths, it kind of shows just how hard he was to kill, period, in that last match. But 9 kills, allowing, like you're saying, to free farm and not really worry too much about being killed off, means the other team can't get an advantage, and it allows Zergy to just maintain this lead. I mean, you can see here 35,000 souls. Who's even close to him on the other side? No one. Like 26,000 is the highest you're going to see out of ABL and Jam side. And because he's not being picked off, because he's not being focused on, because he is surviving, he gets to this late game carries so quickly and easily to make Buff Enjoyers like have this late game power that's really unmatched.
Look at this Bebop. Oh my god, dude. Like that's like 800 damage or something. I don't know how much HP is a full line of HP bars, but that was a lot of damage, man.
Yeah, incredible performance. And we're going to get probably more of that later in the show, because if you are just joining us and you're wondering what's going on, we just concluded our EU finals here for Night Shift, but we have the entire NA broadcast to come, and we will likely have the Hydronation Baroness Hotel rematch, and you'll probably see Ido playing some Mina, because that's been a pretty hot one for Ido. If you're a fan of him, if you've heard of him, you probably should have if you're a Deadlock fan. And I'll also remind you guys that we also have the Graveyard Shift coming at the end of the NA show, and our guest for the Graveyard Shift has been confirmed to be AVG. It was always a delight to talk to, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy that very much. And all you have to do is head over to our Patreon and get yourselves a membership and support the show, and you'll gain access to that. And at the Graveyard Shift, it's kind of like the after show. Things get a little bit naughty. They get a little bit unfiltered.
Whoa,
and you know, you guys can ask us questions, and as well as you can ask our guests questions, and we just kind of hang out for 30-40 minutes and shoot the breeze, and the VODs are up later for the Patreon people.
You don't have to be just a Patreon pledger to join into the Graveyard Shift. You can be a YouTube member, you can be a Twitch sub, but if you want to get into these game nights we've been talking about, and months the other things that we're planning to do in the future, there you want to be a Patreon pledger to make that work.
All right, thanks for correcting me, Jason. I don't know how this bloody thing works, do I? So with that said, it's going to be, I think, the end of the EU show here. Thanks everyone for watching. Of course, there is more. Oh, we have an interview. I almost just massively just stood Zergy up, because we have him for an interview. The trackball god is ready. The MVP is here with us. Zergy, congratulations on another win. You guys are, I think, 5-3 against Abrahams now.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
So
absolutely killing it.
I have a question for you guys. So it felt like, in the opening part of the series, Kelvin was just dominating in either way, right, going in. Did you guys expect that to be the case with, teams? It seems like really high emphasis on banning GT for a lot of teams, and a few Kelvins getting in through today. Do you think Kelvin has kind of reclaimed some dominance, or were teams letting it through with maybe a plan to deal with it?
Right now, Kelvin's really strong, so he's kind of like the first he's kind of mostly the first ban is like routine because of his dome and everything. Like it's really hard to mess up on that character. There's also some good setups as well versus Shiv too, which is a strong character right now. So yeah, Calvin's back, I guess.
Really hard to mess up those shelters. Well, you clearly haven't met me in ranked. But thinking back to the first game of the series, I'm kind of curious, what was going on in the drafting phase when you saw Abraham's pick up Paradox, Bebop, and Holiday in one go? Like, what was going on in columns about this?
I don't know. We were just confused, I guess. We've never seen that before.
I mean, it did decently well against you in the get-go, but you guys did bounce back from that one. How did you guys maybe play the game out knowing, like, what's the difference between playing a match versus a team that has like 1 pick hero versus 3 in this case?
If they have like 4 free pick heroes, they don't scale very well. So we were just playing to survive and just like win, you know, just go even in lane and don't die, and then we just eventually we'll just win.
Zach, I got to ask you, because we've been talking about, it's been a hot topic of like underrated items at the moment. And, you know, what's your sense of the most underrated item currently?
Underrated item? Alkfar, maybe? Shred?
Oh.
It's fair. I mean, seriously, people aren't buying it nearly as much since Vindicta has been completely out of the meta, with her being like the definitive Alkfire buyer previously. But maybe like, you know, maybe the Paradox start picking it up, you know, keep people CC'd in there for a little bit longer, get that extra value, clear it off objectives. I am curious, now that you guys have won decisively again against Abraham's, it puts you guys in a pretty solid lead. However, that being said, you know, a 2-1 series, relatively close. Do you guys think between you and Abraham's, it's going to continue to be back and forth, or do you guys think that you can start to pull away, pull ahead, and continue to grow past them as now you have a 5-3 lead in the championships here on Night Shift?
Well, I don't really know, but I hope that we'll continue to pull ahead of them. It feels like we are, so that's good.
Okay. I don't have a serious question to ask you, so I'm going to ask you to do something as a favor to me and hear the Night Shift and all the viewers who clearly want to hear this. But can you sing us the burger song?
Hang on, I actually forgot the lyrics. I need to go into my own Twitch chat and do exclamation mark burger.
Seriously, people can head over to your stream to know more about this.
I'm going to my stream right now. I'm going to do the command and I'll do the song. Okay, you ready?
Go.
I'm ready.
Buns, ketchup, pickle, cheese, put that patty in between. It's burger. What? It's burger. What?
Thank you so much. Round of applause for Zergy there. Give us a little bit of karaoke. If you want to see more of that, head over to stream and hit him with the sub.
I got to ask one last question before we let you go, actually, because we still see like a lot of Veil Walkers. Usually I feel like when we see an item like this prevalent on so many heroes in Night Shift, it kind of just gets banned, you know, pretty quickly. Veil Walker's still like somewhat surviving. Do you think Veil Walker's like over-tooled at the moment? Do you think we're going to see it get nerfed?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it doesn't get nerfed, I don't know what they're doing, but I hope it gets nerfed. It's really broken right
now. Fair. All right, you guys don't have any more questions for Zergy, or should we let him go?
No, just congrats, man. Big win. You played super well. Impressive stuff. Fun seeing you on the Mina, something a little more dynamic, I think, than a lot of the other like hard farming late game heroes. So it's cool to see. Just congrats. Big win.
How can you be so accurate at tracking people and shooting people with a trackball, but be so bad at drawing in Pictionary with that said trackball?
It's different, man. I don't practice drawing on my trackball.
Okay, I'm done. That was it.
Well, all right. Thank you, Zergy. We'll let you go. Congrats again. Jason, you're just going to have to host more Pictionaries. Like, just force us to get more reps in there for him.
Let him get the reps. Zergy's banned. Zergy's...
I mean, to be fair, he's kept the title for VP/Buff Enjoyers going. Listic won it the first time. He won it the second time. So maybe we'll have to pull in like Hoot
Wait,
next
you're saying
time.
He won and you're flaming him?
Well, so not for his drawing skills, right? He's guessing other people's drawings.
Okay.
You don't get points for drawing.
I didn't even do that bad.
Get out of here, Zergy.
Maybe we should
go celebrate your win.
To drawing.
I mean, yeah, we can revamp the system. It's fine. We can figure out something to do about it.
I like your little mini games, Jason. I think these are really good segments.
Well, you know what? If you like those segments, you can find it over at Locked In.
Nice.
YouTube.
Look at the plug. We are so good at plugging here. Well, I'm going to also let Jake and Jason go. They've been casting all day, but we're going to be back after the break with the NA portion of the show. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got Hydra Nation and we have Chain Gang first up for the potential rematch should Hydra Nation defeat Chain Gang of the Baroness Hotel versus Hydra Nation, which is a really epic match. You've got the Baroness Hotel, the streamer star-studded lineup, and then you've got Hydra Nation, who are the best NA team, or maybe they're not, because if they lose again, that's 3 losses in a row. We'll have to stay tuned to find out what will happen on the NA portion of Night Shift.